The Michael K. Show on Yes is brought to you by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
Steve Sharippa, better known as Bobby Bacala, and the Michael K. Show starts now, right here on 98.7 ESPN. Hey, Michael, Don, Peter, do me a favor. Don't screw this thing up, would you?
Thank you, Mr. Sharippa, and a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on a snowy Tuesday. It is the last day of February 28th, 2023, and things are going great at the Garden. We'll talk about the Knicks beating the Celtics, but it's official. According to our very own Emily Kaplan, Patrick Kane is, in fact, a New York Ranger, which means that Don's going to get a chance to call Patrick Kane's first game tomorrow in Philly, and I'm very happy for that. He's going to use the line I gave him. If he scores, Kane is able.
Kane is able.
Well, I don't know what I'm going to say, but I probably won't say that.
What about?
What? I don't need it written out for me. Part of the creativity is having it not handed to you.
Can I just throw an idea at you, though?
Go ahead. I want to hear it.
I won't tell you any specifics, but what if you make a lot of references when talking about him to Big Daddy Kane? That would be like very inside. Not a lot of people would get it, but Big Daddy Kane, legendary New York rapper. You know, if you were to say something like "Ain't no half steppin'," Patrick Kane, it's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool, but it's just not.
Or Big Daddy Kane's famous song, "The Wrath of Cain." There's a lot there. I'm telling you, there's a lot there.
Right, but not a lot given up, Michael. Emily Kaplan's got the whole acquisition here. Rangers get Kane for a conditional 2023 second-round pick and a 2023 fourth-round pick. Her sources tell her that second-round pick becomes a first-round pick if the Rangers make it to the conference finals. However, the first-round pick would either be 24 or 25. So they will hold on, no matter what, to their 2023 first-round pick. That's not a lot.
All right.
He is a rental, but the Rangers are certainly going for it, and they will have him in the lineup in Philly tomorrow for the start of 3 games in 4 nights. In Philly, home against Ottawa, so he'll make his debut Thursday at the Garden, and then on national television on ABC Saturday afternoon in Boston against the Bruins. So, nice jumping off point there for the Rangers.
It is amazing because, Don plays the good guy role, but he has secretly been rooting for this to happen when he does a game. He didn't want Kenny to have it.
That's right.
He wanted to
say
do
it
it. Come
openly.
on, let's be honest.
No, I'm being honest. You think that's so wrong?
It's not wrong.
And I missed out on Tarasenko's first game because we did the remote out on Long Island. So I didn't get to call the Kraken game against the Rangers. But this isn't Tarasenko. This is Kane. And it's Patrick Kane. And this is one of the great American-born players, one of the great players in the league. So to have him join a crop of really good players, a really talented and, stars, Patrick Kane, I don't want to say household name because it's hard for a hockey player to be a household name, but sports fans know who he is, and that's pretty significant. And he still has something left in the tank.
How about this? Sweet move by Patrick. Candy Kane.
Awful. If you did that over Big Daddy Kane, I'd be really upset.
I think the one is Kane is able. That's the one.
No.
It is.
It's ain't no half-stepping Patrick Kane.
So he's going to do something Well, now, this is a hockey audience, okay?
I get it.
6 to 7% of them might get it.
Yeah, but it's still so much cooler than Kane is. Don, Candy Kane? Really?
Listen, my one is biblical. There's nothing better than biblical.
Well, people may argue that.
Yeah, I mean, it depends who the crowd is.
Yeah. Listen, I will give it Don LaGreca. I don't need to be. I'm not being
so
fed
you're going to
lines.
scream at the top of your lungs, score, and that's it. Nobody's going to remember it. Just do Kane is able. Then you'll be signing pucks the rest of your life with that.
By the way, how old is Kane?
33.
Oh, so he could, if he resigns here,
He's able.
He could have a long enough run that it does become a thing.
Oh, yeah.
He could be here for 7 years. He's hockey quality.
I will guarantee this to you, Donald. Guarantee it. If you say Kane is able on a goal, the Garden will make T-shirts out of it.
He's 34. He'll be 35 in November.
Not listening to me.
I am not listening because I'm not a talk show host where I have writers. All right? I don't need any suggestions. I'm going to call it as I see it.
I didn't write
it's
it
not
for
about
you.
me. It's about the broadcast, okay? I've got my signature call. I will make him part of the signature call. Let's not get overly creative.
Okay, can you do me a favor off the air? Just give me Maloney's...
Yo, you're going to give it to Maloney
Because
now.
Maloney will just step on you and go, Kane is able.
I don't think Dave's going to say
Oh,
it.
yeah, you watch.
Smooth operator Patrick Kane. That's good stuff. I don't know what you're doing.
Really?
Is it not?
Really? All right, so does this make them good enough to beat Boston, Don? Oh, that's
It puts them in the conversation. Well, listen, Boston is an amazing hockey team that has also added some pieces and may add even more before the deadline. It puts them certainly in the conversation of being able to be very competitive for it. But as I mentioned before, Boston's got like a goal differential of like plus 93, and the second in the league is a plus 44. I mean, they might break a record for most wins in a regular season, but I like their chances to be very competitive for it. But to tell me that they're on the same level as Boston, adding Patrick Kane, no. But he brings a lot of experience. He's going to help this power play that's been stagnant now for like the last month. He's going to give them 4 solid lines because I think there'll be VC on the 4th line. You put Kane on the top line. You can even play Kane with Panarin. There's multiple places that you can put him on this team. They are better than they were 5 minutes ago. There's no question about it. But does that tell me that I think they're going to beat Boston? Hey, it's hockey, so anything can happen.
It's
hockey,
But it makes
man.
them. But right now, I think it puts them certainly in the conversation of being one of the 3-4 best teams in
Does
the
it
NHL.
ensure they beat the Devils?
There's no assurances,
Oh,
Michael.
you know, you're a talk show host.
No,
Go
wait
out
a
on
minute
limb.
here. Wait a minute here. All right, the Devils got better by adding Meyer. Rangers get better adding Kane. They've been mano a mano for much of the year. I mean, right now that the series would start in New Jersey, but I don't think that much matters because Ranger fans will get into the building, and the Rangers have been outstanding on the road all year. There's no assurances, but what it does is it keeps them up with the Joneses. Did you want the Devils to make a move and the Rangers not to make a move? Tarasenko eventually is going to get adjusted here and play better. Kane has been playing out of his mind leading into this deal. You know how good Zibanejad and Kreider are, how this blue line has produced the second most points in the NHL. And you've got a goaltender that hasn't played great recently, but you know how good he can be. Yeah, they're in the conversation. But am I going to make any guarantees?
I didn't ask you for a guarantee.
But it's a deal. But it's a deal that after you saw New Jersey get Meyer, it really put, I thought, the onus for the Rangers to answer and get Kane. And I think they are going to be. That's going to be a tremendous first-round series, and it's going to be a shame to see one of those two teams out in the first round. But I would like their chances against anybody. Boston is the outlier because of just how good they are. But, boy, do you see upsets in the NHL playoffs all the time. Maybe Boston's peaking early. Their goaltending is a little inexperienced. But, hey, save that for the third round. They can't meet each other until the conference final. So, right now, I think it puts them right there, if not better than New Jersey overall. And then we'll see what happens
So
from
Kane
there.
is 88, right?
Yes.
So Rangers, send me a jersey. I'll wear 88 on the show.
You don't see a problem with that?
No, well, I'm not going to buy it.
No, but I don't. But you're just asking for things on the air.
Well, you know what? The worst thing that could happen is they say no.
Yeah, but don't you feel dirty when you put the jersey on, knowing that you had to ask for
You know
it?
what? No, I don't. I'm not,
All
not
right,
even a
should
little
he feel dirty, Peter?
He is dirty.
Earlier today, I felt dirty, but no, I don't feel dirty today.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Yeah, one word.
Ottawa.
Calgary. Do you know they're significantly far apart from each other?
Yeah,
Do
that's
you
not-
know the?
I'm not as
The
in love with
geography of Canada?
as you are.
You know
I
what's
like
funny?
it, but
I got to tell you, this very funny thing, Don, that when I was in Montreal the other day with Dipperstein, we were talking about Canada with some Canadian lovely people from Halifax.
Okay. Nova Scotia.
Dip had literally his geography of Canada. Americans have no idea where anything is.
Why should we?
I thought it was at least a given that people knew like what's on the West Coast
I know
and
that.
what's east. Okay, so you do know that.
I believe so, but if I don't, what's the big
what
deal?
Are the big West?
They didn't
what
teach
are the
that in
big
school.
But do you know, what are the big Western cities then?
Edmonton,
Yeah, there's one.
Vancouver.
There you go.
That's about it. Winnipeg.
Keep going.
Winnipeg's more central. Can you give me the provinces of the respective
No,
cities?
I'm not going to do it. No, and I don't care.
Well, you know Vancouver's BC.
Yeah, British Columbia.
You know,
All right, enough of this.
Yeah, all right. You've already annoyed him.
Yeah.
He's not feeling great
I feel
to begin
awful
with.
today, and you're playing
Montreal,
let's
Quebec,
name the
Toronto,
geography
Ontario,
of a secondary
Halifax,
country.
Manitoba.
game.
Secondary country. You son
Halifax.
of a...
This is
Halifax,
it's
Nova
the
Scotia.
United States
Nova
of
Scotia.
Jace. That's what it is.
Winnipeg is Manitoba.
Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Okay, it's time for the Knicks recap.
Thank you. If I didn't have him distract me, would have nailed all of them.
Yeah, I'm sure you've said that a lot. It's time for the Knicks recap, brought to you by
I don't even know what that means.
Jack Pockets. How about the Knicks? How about the Garden?
Yay!
Jim Dolan a good owner now, everybody? Huh? Huh? Is he?
No.
Is he?
I don't think
No.
they're going to agree with you there.
Why?
No. They won't.
Well, the Rangers have a chance to win the Stanley Cup. The Knicks have a chance to be the 4th seed after beating the best team in basketball. Not hyperbole, fact, record-wise. Celtics best team in basketball. And please don't tell me, for all you Knick haters, well, Jaylen Brown didn't play. Well, previous to yesterday, Jaylen Brown didn't play in 11 games, and the Celtics won 9 of them. The Knicks manhandled them. They took Tatum out of the game. He got so frustrated, he got teed up twice and got thrown out with about 4 minutes left in the game. It was a complete whitewashing of a great team. And if you take a look, Barrett, Randall, and Brunson didn't play great. But they all played just well enough to win. And that, to me, is heartening when their best players didn't light it up, and they still won. Quickly played very well. Robinson did great, intimidating in the paint. Another double-double. This is a legitimately good team.
Yeah, they're good. There's no question they're good, and I think you should just enjoy it. And instead of trying to extrapolate it out to what it's all going to mean at the end of the day, you can do that, but don't have it come at the expense of enjoying what's happening right now. They're 9 games above 500. They've won 6 in a row. They've won 2 games this year against the Celtics that have the best record in the NBA. So you can spend all your time you want. Well, Boston didn't care. Whatever. You're winning games, and you're establishing something here. And I love Thibodeau's attitude.
Welcome back to the show. As promised, let's talk some Marcus Stroman. When it first became apparent that Stroman had, or his representatives had related to the Yankees that he was interested in talking with them, the first report was the Yankees did not reciprocate that interest. Then Bob Nightingale yesterday from USA Today wrote that the Yankees do indeed have interest in Stroman. Then John Morosi of MLB Network said that they are moving closer to maybe coming to an agreement. I'm really, really surprised. Now, listen, in this business, you have to hold your nose. We know the problems that Domingo Germán had. We know the problems that Chapman had. We get it. And as I always say, talent is the great deodorant. But at this point in his career, is there enough there for Marcus for you to forget everything that he has said about you, Brian Cashman, and the organization? Because he finished the season unable to pitch with the Cubs. In his last 6 to 10 starts, I think he had an ERA of about 6. He has the highest ERA at Yankee Stadium in his starts than of any other place that he's pitched a significant amount of games. I believe he's 32 years old. He is a social media constant, and he happens to be very smart, because once he proclaimed how he would like to go to the Yankees, you know what he did? He scrubbed all the mentions of the Yankees and all the terrible things he said about the team and the fan base and Brian Cashman. It's now off of his Twitter feed. Clever, right? But people do have memories. I mean, he has blocked, I'd say, half of Yankee Twitter. So this is the Yankee fan base. We ran a poll the other day, a quick poll, got 3,000 votes. 73% of the people say they want no part of the guy. The fact that the Yankees, this is just me guessing right now, are even thinking about fishing in this pond has to be related to an air of desperation. Mm-hmm. They didn't get Yamamoto. They know they need at least 2 starters. The price on Snell and the price on Montgomery is going to be sky high. If you're going to get Burns, you're going to have to give up a lot more draft capital, not draft picks because you can't trade them, but stuff in your minor leagues. And you already gave up a lot to get Soto. So any trade you make for a pitcher that's going to be able to help you, you're going to have to give up more of what's in your system. Now, there's one other thing that I'm thinking that maybe it's this, because I find it so hard to wrap my mind around the fact that these two people, these two sides, will actually form a union. I can't wrap my mind around it. Maybe the Yankees are putting it out there that they have interest in them, so that teams that are negotiating with them or free agents that are negotiating with them might feel some sort of urgency. Okay, let's bring the price down to something a little bit more reasonable to make this deal before they bring in Stroman, and then they won't need my guy. Maybe that's it. But maybe desperation is driving them into the arms of Marcus Stroman. And I don't think it's going to be pretty, because there are times when this guy he's a stud. He's a warrior. And here's one positive thing, and he denied it, ripped me on social media about it. When he got traded from Toronto, somebody that was in that clubhouse told me that he went absolutely ballistic, screaming, because they traded him to the Mets and not the Yankees, because he wanted to pitch for the Yankees. And then Brian Cashman, who never, ever met a question that he doesn't answer, I give him credit, not like Joe Douglas. Brian Cashman is always available. Sometimes he gets himself into trouble. Said, we didn't have interest in Stroman because he wouldn't have been an impact pitcher for us. And that set Stroman off. And then Stroman went after Cashman, went after the Yankees all these years now. And now, kumbaya, they both have interest in each other. I'm kind of a little flabbergasted, Donnie. I really am.
Well, let's take each thing as you brought up. All right, why would they want to get this guy that's kind of nozzly? All right, well, if you think he can help you, they obviously got over what happened with Aroldis Chapman and traded for him, despite his domestic violence history. And Domingo Germán is still here and did it while he was a Yankee. And Domingo Germán, has turned out to be a really good pitcher. They didn't 100% know he would be, and they still held on to him. And so all the things that might be nozzly about Stroman, we don't see any kind of criminal activity. So if you can live with Chapman, you can live with Germán, then why not Stroman? If he can help you win, then he's got a chance. He wanted to be here, and you're trying to do what you think is best for your team. So let's not make as much as a pain in the neck he can be. He's not a criminal. He's a pain, but he's not a criminal.
No, not a bad guy in terms of legal stuff.
If you traded for Chapman and you kept Domingo Germán, I don't see any the reason was because they thought Chapman can help him. They thought Domingo Germán was going to be a really good pitcher. If they think Stroman, who also
had the Germán thing happened after though, no?
Yeah, but it happened once with them too. And then finally, remember the incident at a Yankee charity
at the
dinner.
Yankee event. But what I'm saying is, did he have a known thing before signing?
No, but they let him go. They kept him.
But there's a difference between staying in business with someone and getting in business with someone.
Well, they got into business with Chapman.
They traded for him.
Chapman would be
they traded for him and then re-signed him when he left as a free agent. So, and the only reason he's not a Yankee now because he was ineffective. Nothing to do with what happened, off the field. So I'm not going to kill the Yankees for it because I think everybody, does what they think is best for them. So Stroman has not been in that kind of situation. And you think he can help you, And in 2001 with the Mets, Michael, he made 33 starts and had an earned average of 3.02. So I understand he doesn't pitch well at Yankee Stadium, but he pitched pretty well in New York. And if they don't have a lot of options to help this rotation, it's a win-now team because you don't know if you're going to be able to bring Soto back. And if it's a move on the cheap, you can understand that too because they're going to need to rake as much cash as they can to try to make sure that they keep Soto as a Yankee beyond this year. So I'm not mad at them. If you don't think he's good enough to be a Yankee, that's a separate conversation. But all the off-field stuff and, the way he's reacted, the way he had to scrub Twitter, you said it yourself, Michael, you never make decisions as an organization based on your fans' thoughts. So the fact that 70% of the fans on our poll didn't want him, that should not bother you if you're the Yankees.
I don't think, no. I don't think you acquire people because a fan base says go out and acquire him because they want everybody. But if a fan base has a really terrible relationship with this guy, it's got to come into play a little.
Listen, it's apples and wrenches. I get it, but every Yankee fan hated Roger Clemens. They found a way to fall in love with him. They're going to love him or hate him based on how he performs. And you know what's going to happen, Michael? A little prediction here based on history. If he ends up being a nozzle with the Yankees and doing all the things he did with the Mets and the Cubs and all the things that just drive you crazy, if he's competing for the Cy Young, every Yankee fan will defend his behavior.
Absolutely.
And if he ends up being terrible and does it, then every Yankee fan's going to want him gone. It's all based on how he performs.
Or if he's terrible and does nothing wrong, they'll still want him gone.
Right, so...
But I will tell you this. I mean, again, I don't know Marcus. I really don't. I just know what I read and how he is on Twitter. But if he gets booed at Yankee Stadium, he's not going to take it lightly.
That's the part. To me, it's
and he's
less
a New Yorker, by the way, Peter.
To me, it's less about how the fans feel about it and more just the Yankee way, right? Like, and I know that's kind of absurd when you talk about what Don just talked about and these much more important issues, things that are much more meaningful than someone who's annoying on Twitter. So I recognize that relative to that, this is sort of nothing. But we've been having all these conversations about Aaron Rodgers, about Kyrie Irving, about people who just create conversations around your team that aren't about the game. That is very likely to happen with Stroman in the Bronx. It's happened basically everywhere. And he is so sensitive with a fan base that is so rough on you. To me, it's just got mess written all over it. I wonder whether the juice is worth the squeeze. You know Michael much more than I do about how much gas he has left in the tank. And is it worth it considering I can basically all out guarantee that him versus the fans and the media will be a recurring thing once he's here?
It's going to be interesting. Again, listen, I could care less that he has said some awful things about me on social media. I really couldn't care less. I really couldn't. But I'm just seeing the picture. All right, so he had a rib cage issue at the end with the Cubs. He had a great first half. I mean, not good, great. He was tremendous the first half of the season. He opted out of the final year of the contract. So he had originally signed a 3-year, $71 million deal. He has never pitched well at Yankee Stadium, ever. And I just wonder, he's 32 years old. This is a guy who 4.5 years ago you said could not help you. He wasn't a difference maker. Now he's 4.5, 5 years older, and you're ready to sign him to a long-term contract. I mean, I could almost justify more bringing back Jordan Montgomery, who you said couldn't make the playoff rotation, and you traded him, than bringing back a guy who 5 years ago you said couldn't help you when he was 27.
Yeah, things change, though, Michael. Obviously, they need him more now than they needed back then.
I guess that's it.
And you know how important this season is for them. And, this rotation does not look like it's championship caliber right now. I don't know if Stroman changes that, but there is potential there. It's probably not going to be for a ton of money, relatively speaking.
Well, I mean, he opted out of a $21 million contract for next year, so it's got to be at least that.
Yeah. But I give the Yankees credit. Players seem to kind of find the straight and narrow when they're Yankees. I'm sure you'll have a conversation with him. There may be a zero tolerance to some of his behavior. Why do I have a feeling that he will probably be less active on social media as a Yankee?
I know. You would think so,
really,
right?
Because is there anybody on the Yankees that has a major social media presence?
Clint Frazier did.
Yeah, and look how that worked out. But on the current Yankees, Michael, even like the star players, I think Judge has an account, but hardly ever does.
He does it he uses the account for his charity.
No Rizzo, none of these guys, Cole.
No, they don't post stuff about the world.
No, and why? Because I think the Yankees explained to them. There will be a conversation. You want to be a Yankee? Great, we want you to be a Yankee, but we're not going to tolerate what you did with the Mets and what you did with the Cubs, and you're a Yankee now. We're going to expect you to conduct yourself this way, and if you don't, then you're going to be gone. I think you can have that conversation with him. As you said, it didn't end well in Chicago, although he was an all-star. And
it didn't end well because of injuries, not because he's a bad guy.
Well,
and he's not a bad guy.
No,
that's
what I mean.
There's not an opinion he can't make.
And I could spin it. A lot of it comes from a place he's highly competitive. He might be a little thin-skinned, but I think it comes from a place where he might come in here with a bit of a chip on his shoulder to prove everybody wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. And as long as it doesn't get out of hand. But I look at the Yankees organization as buttoned up enough where some of these things won't happen.
Well, that's the way to root, but it does tell you the desperate nature of their need for pitching, that they would even consider Marcus Stroman.
And I know it doesn't bother you, Michael.
It also tells you there must not be that much of a market for Marcus for him to say he wants to play for the Yankees. Although he's always wanted to play for the Yankees, I'll give him that.
Yes, and there's always something to that as well. And I know you're taking the high road for what he did to you, but he does owe you an apology.
That hold my breath.
No, but I wouldn't expect you to ask for it. But you know what? You're going to be around the team a lot, and
he wouldn't do it. I mean, he's not.
He insinuated you were a racist.
He pretty much said I was a racist. He said because I've had a show 22 years and never had a black co-host. Like I hire my co-hosts because Peter's here shows I don't hire the co-hosts.
It's a great point, buddy.
That's the drop the mic moment, but he probably doesn't know the ins and outs.
Right, so if you don't know the ins and outs of the business, to drop that kind of, it's like what it's kind of like what Rogers did to Kimmel.
Yeah,
I mean, how could you call somebody a racist?
For people that don't know, he didn't call you that. He found an article of somebody insinuating that and reposted.
Right, it's a great way.
So he had somebody else.
Great way to
but you got to take a step further and the explanation. He took issue with Michael being critical of him. When people pointed out to him, this is how Stroman acts. This is that Duke behavior that I find so weak. When someone pointed out to him on Twitter, look what this guy Michael Kay says about you. He then went and found an article that said something nasty about Michael and just reposted it.
Yeah. He might not even have read it, just knew that it was negative.
And
and if there was that Aaron Rodgers moment on McAfee with Stroman, he would tell you that. I didn't say that.
All right.
I was just reposting a negative article about him. I didn't, But still, you don't like. He's a nozzle.
11 starts at Yankee Stadium, where he'll be pitching half of his games. 2-6, 6.06 ERA. Allowed 8 home runs in 11 starts. Allowed a .301 batting average and a WHIP of 1.64. These are the things you have to look at, and he's 32. A lot of these starts when he was with the Blue Jays when he was a young stud.
Right. But, right-handed pitcher, short porch. He pitched well in New York, Michael, in 2021. I don't think he's not someone that can't handle New York. Like the insinuation about not pitching well at Yankee Stadium is that he can't handle the big crowd. He can't handle. He's from here. I don't think it's that.
No, I don't think it's that. Maybe it's the stadium, and maybe he's pitching as Yankee batting order.
Yeah, in 8 games as a road guy. I mean, he did win a couple of games. And by the way, it's the worst of any stadium he's ever pitched in. So I get that. And if you want to have a conversation that you don't want him because you don't think he's good enough to be in the rotation, have at it. But we're having more of a conversation of, his personality, and also compared to what alternatives do you have, Michael, on the current roster and off? Where does he fit in the pecking order? If you were to list the top 10 options for guys in this rotation.
Here's the problem, Don. The other options are better, but they're much more expensive, either in draft capital or player capital or money.
Yeah, well, that's part two.
Would you rather have Jordan Montgomery? Yes. Right. Would you rather have Blake Snell? Yes. Would you rather have Corbin Burns? Yes.
Right, but when you're giving analysis what's best for the team, finances do come into play. As much as Yankee fans will say finances shouldn't come into play and they should spend whatever, money shouldn't be an object, we know that it is. So they're going to factor that in for sure. So that moves him up the pecking order, doesn't it? How cheap he may be.
And the cheaper he is, the easier it is to get out of it if he does become a mouse.
This isn't going to be a bargain, Don. Again, he's going to have to make more than the $21 million or $23 million a year that he made with the Cubs. So it's not a bargain. It's just I just think that the prices for pitching have gone through the roof. That you probably can't get Montgomery for less than $27 a year. And since Boris represents Snell and also represents Rodon, he's going to want more than the 160 something that Rodon got. So the Yankees know the price is there, and to get a guy like Burns, it's going to take a lot of players to get him. Let's go to James in Hawthorne. What's up, James?
Hi, James.
Hey guys, thanks for taking the call.
You got it. What's up?
First, before I get to the point, I do have to say, Michael, if they do get Stroman, I think he definitely owes you an apology. For a guy like me, under 30, I know you're not gonna be objective about this. You'll probably be humble about it, but you are the voice of the Yankees. Like, that's not me being a sycophant. That's just saying the truth. Like, for a young guy like me, I grew up listening to you.
And John.
And you can't insult. Yeah, no, true. But even more so than John. Like, most young kids are watching TV. You can't insult the Yankee commentator and, not address that if you come to the team. But I don't think he's coming to the team. I think that it's a ploy, like you said, to drive down prices because I just think Cashman's not going to take that. I think his ego's too big. I think that's the same reason why they probably haven't even signed Montgomery. I don't think he wants to go back to, in a word, his vomit and have to overpay for Montgomery. And I don't think they're going to get Stroman, personally. I think his ego is just not going to let
James,
it happen.
First of all, I thank you for the very lovely compliment. We appreciate your call. I don't think Brian's not the way you guys think. Does he have an ego? Everybody has an ego. It's whether how big the ego is. I mean, everybody in every walk of life has an ego. It's part of, the soul. It's part of the body. Ego and id. I get it, but he will never ever let that affect which players he goes after. I'm sorry, he wouldn't. If he thinks Stroman is the best option for the Yankees, you think he cares that Stroman has obliterated him in social media? He will not care. And I think they would go right back to Jordan Montgomery. But I think the price is too high. It's just too high. They're probably thinking, we traded this guy because we didn't think he could make the rotation for the playoffs that year. And now we're going to pay him $27 million. Maybe they will. Maybe they will. And for those that say it was a terrible deal, they don't make the ALCS 2 years ago without Harrison Bader. Sorry. He hit 5 home runs in the postseason. Yeah. He got them past the Cleveland series. So if you look at it just in terms of that 1 year, I don't know if they get past the Guardians with Montgomery. They needed Bader. So is it going to the World Series? No, but it was going to the ALCS. They don't go there without Bader. They just don't. Peter and Edison. Peter. Hello, Peter.
How are you doing?
Well, great. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So basically, with Marcus Stroman, I'm not a big fan of the guy. He has obviously, a big social media presence. It's not, and he makes a lot of drama. But I'm looking at some of his stats, and he does have a close to almost 60% ground ball percentage. So that's something that you look for in Yankee Stadium. Yep. But it just comes down to the point with, is he a guy that's really going to help your team? And we know that his stats in Yankee Stadium haven't been that great. And, Don did say that he did pitch well with the Mets, but that was in a in a pitcher's park. Citi Field's not exactly hitter friendly. So I'm just trying to see, is this really going to help the team overall?
Well, thank you, Peter. I don't think it hurts it in terms, they need pitching. So what pitching are you going to get? Is he better than Clark Schmidt? Yeah, he probably is. Is he more of a sure thing than Nestor and Rodon? Nestor's coming off a shoulder injury. How can you predict what he's going to be? Rodon was hurt for most of the first half of the season, finished terribly. I still think he's a good pitcher, and they're going to have a good year out of it at some point. But is he a sure thing? The only sure thing the Yankees have is Garrett Cole. So they've improved their offense tremendously by getting Soto, but you got to get outs. So maybe they're deciding, do we want to get a starting pitcher? Or do we want to improve the bullpen? Do we go after Josh Hader? Don't know. But right now, it's being reported by guys that are reputable in the industry that they seem to be moving closer. We'll talk about this more, 1-800-919-3776. Michael, Don, and Peter with you until 6:30 on 98.7 ESPN and Yes.
We just shipped our millionth monthly coffee subscription box. We're sending custom thank you gifts to everyone on our team who helped us get there. I had to call Eric at Custom Ink. Custom Ink has been with us from the beginning, and he makes sure that we get everything we need and even reminds us of our own company milestones. This milestone, though, I get to tell him about. He is every bit as excited as we are and knows great quality products we can customize and send for the gifts. Celebrate all your milestones with custom gear. Get started today at customink.com.
Can a handyman fix my leaky faucet?
How much does it cost to have my HVAC checked?
How do I know I have mold?
Why do water pipes break? Home questions don't have to keep you up at night. Get peace of mind with Thumbtack. We'll connect you with local pros for any home project, from a small fix to a big remodel. See transparent prices, read verified reviews, and book with just a tap. Thumbtack, the easy way to care for your home.
So, you need a suit, a tux even? Maybe you got invited to a fancy party, or you're someone's plus one, and the last time you resorted to a warehouse, you didn't like the way you looked. This time, get a better suit from the Black Tux, and we'll deliver it with time to spare. Try it on. If the fit isn't right, we'll replace it right away, for free. And on the big day, you'll look as great as you feel. With the Black Tux, it's easy to look your best for every occasion. TheBlackTux.com. Formal wear for the moment.
Press the button to order lottery tickets. It's that easy.
You know, that really happened. I was in the bathtub and I was like, oh my God, I got to put my numbers in. And I grabbed my phone and
my phone started exploding with texts and emails from Jack Pocket telling me I won big. I still can't believe I'm a lottery winner.
How did I celebrate? I kind of did a little happy dance out to the living room.
Go to jackpocket.com to get the app and get your first ticket free.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
This is not just 30-minute test results for flu and COVID-19.
I'm so glad you're here.
This is knowing for sure. So you know what's next. Walgreens.
When I hit 80, I needed help around the home. A friend of mine told me to call Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay and how fast you can get started.
This is Aaron Judge, and I want to introduce you to the All Rise Foundation. Our mission is to inspire children and youth to become responsible citizens by engaging them in activities that encourage them to reach unlimited possibilities. We accomplish this through our All Rise Pro Camps, Aspiring Leaders Program, and our mini grant program that supports our youth's education, leadership skills, health, and well-being. We began in my hometown of Linden, California, expanded to my college town of Fresno, California, and as of last year, I was fortunate to share All Rise with my home for the next 8 years in New York City. Join me and my foundation as we all rise to support youth in our community at our next All-Star Evening on January 25th, 2024.
Get ready for the British Basketball League. 10 teams, one electrifying league. Global talent, local passion. The British Basketball League.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
If you get a phone call, do not talk to the person.
Never, ever give out your Medicare number. Just hang up.
I check my Medicare statements monthly. To report Medicare fraud, contact the Senior Medicare Patrol in your state.
In the show, 5 o'clock hour, we're going to talk to Dan Orlovsky, so a lot of stuff to hit him about. Pete Carroll speaking right now, gave thanks to, what a great run that he had in Seattle. But we'll ask Dan about, the coaching carousel and where people are going to end up, the Wink Martindale situation. And, Pat McAfee, if you just tuned in, said that Aaron Rodgers will not be on the rest of the football season, which according to Andrew Marchand, he is contractually signed to do, but they decided not to do because too much drama involved. And we're talking about whether the Yankees are really interested in Marcus Stroman or not. So let's go to GB and Merrick. GB.
Gentlemen, always a pleasure. Thanks for all you do for New York and taking my call. I hope you guys are doing well.
All good. How about you?
Kay, good, thank you. Kay, you're so right on the money piece when it comes to pitchers. And what are we paying for? 5 innings? 6 innings? We should be paying contracts for how many innings. We should be looking at how many pitches. We should be looking at how many games some of these guys are playing. When I get off the phone, give me the next 3 guys that really pitch besides Cole, complete games, 8, 9 innings. I do think Rodon could be that guy if he's healthy. But across the league, it's astronomical, the money we're giving guys. You're a great pitcher if you did 5 innings with no hits or 5 innings with run now. It's confusing to me. It really is.
We talked about it a lot, and it's these organizations that are doing it. They can't wait to pull these pitchers out after the 3rd time through. Yeah, for every Garrett Cole, Michael, 3 or 4 other pitchers in your rotation, they can't wait to get to the bullpen, especially if the bullpen is good. Yep. So I don't even fault the pitchers. They're bred this way within the organizations, and the managers can't wait to get them out.
Yeah, they've got the stats that show. They clearly show that 3rd time through the order, pitchers don't pitch that well. But my argument is on a certain day, a pitcher could have it. Like when Snell was pitching in the World Series, right? You took him out, and he was pitching. What was he pitching? A no-hitter? You took him out.
I don't get it.
So yeah, those numbers apply, but they're not 100% accurate. It doesn't happen every single time. It's weird, and that's. Garrett Cole makes $36 million a year, and in today's present climate, I'm going to tell you a secret. He's a bucket. He takes the ball every 5 days. He gives you 7 innings at least every 5 days. Saves the bullpen every 5 days. There aren't a lot of pitchers that exist anymore.
I know, but it's still weird that he makes as much money or close to as much money as Aaron Judge. Because you're only impacting 1 every 5 games.
Yeah, but you impact other games by giving them length in the games that you pitch.
I guess, but the money that you can make. You're also talking about one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. But some of the money, $27 million for Jordan Montgomery. Come on, man. We're getting out of our minds here. Don't you think?
Well, you give the kid Yamamoto all that money. He's never pitched a game in the big leagues.
Well, no, but that too. I think overall, for every couple of pitchers where you're like, he's worth every penny, I'm sure the Yankees are not regretting the contract they gave Cole right now. The overwhelming majority of pitchers are way overpaid, and most of the organizations regret they give them that money. They always get hurt. They impact 1 out of every 5 games, and the way the analytics tell you is you're hot to go to the bullpen and take them out, where at the end of the game, you find out that, it didn't matter that he started because the bullpen blew it. Or the offense ended up scoring enough runs, you would have won the game no matter who started anyway. Like, how many games are you really impacting? to deserve more money than anybody else on the team.
It's a strange dichotomy because, as you said, they're breeding pitchers to pitch 5 innings. But they're paying them as if they're Bob Gibson, getting 28 complete games. You're not getting complete games.
And yet, every single time in recent memory the Yankees have been eliminated from the playoffs, it's been because of the fact they didn't get enough hits and enough runs.
Go to Steve and Merrick.
How you doing, guys?
Good. How are you, Steve?
How you doing, Steve? Good. So I want to paint a little scenario for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's opening day, Yankee Stadium. The place is packed. Stroman hasn't yet thrown a pitch in a game. He's lined up down the line with the rest of the team, and they call out his name on the public address. And I'm curious what the reaction is because the fan base knows, his history and the negative history. I think it starts a snowball rolling down the hill, and I don't know that you can ever stop it after that. What do you think?
Well, Steve, I think that they will cheer him right away. I think they'll boo him at the first sign of ineffectiveness, but
like any other.
But he's also a New York kid.
Yeah, he's a New York
from
kid,
Long
and also
Island.
he went after the Yankees organization. He wants to play for the Yankees. That's always a plus for New York fans that they want that the player wants to play for them. If he has a good spring, he does all the right things being a Yankee. And remember, he went after an organization that a lot of Yankee fans aren't in love with to begin with. I agree with you. I think he's going to get cheered. It'll be a very short leash, but it's like that for every free agent.
I know I already said this. I'm telling you, this thing is not about the fact that he said things about the Yankees before. That was out of bitterness because of how much he wanted to be a Yankee.
Right.
Yankee fans will almost appreciate that. The problem is not the immediate reception. Some will complain, especially people who listen to our show who have heard us kind of talk about him before. By and large, everyone will be fine. The issue will be how he reacts when things don't go his way and he starts to hear the chirping. It's not, to me, at all about what the reaction is now. If he shows up next year and he's solid, he's got an ERA of 3 and he wins 13 games and everyone's happy, everyone will be great. It's only if starts going poorly, he starts hearing the boo birds, then what does he do on social media later, and does that completely devolve?
And the first... the New York media is not as tough as it used to be or as it's portrayed, okay? It's about as nice as I could put it. But there are still some old-time guys. If he struggles, and the first time Joel Sherman writes a column, because Joel just says it like it is and care, and he'll be in the clubhouse the next day. If you have something to say to him, go for it. That will be an interesting interaction. How will he be reacting to Joel's column in the back of the New York Post, ripping him if he's not pitching well? How will he react?
And the way the relationship is with the media and the fans, Michael, it might embolden the fans to cheer for him even louder. Who knows? Here's one thing about New York. They're kind of hip to this kind of stuff, that if everybody thinks that they're going to boo him, they'll cheer him. And remember, it's usually a younger audience that boos or cheers, Michael. Mm-hmm. They might dig him. The fact that if he comes here and says, "Oh man, I always wanted to be a Yankee," and he has a really good spring, they won't think about all the other stuff. I'm with you. It's all about how he goes out there and performs. But certain guys get a pass here, and if he just for whatever reason is endearing to the fans in some way, shape, or form, do you think who are they going to side with, him or Joel Sherman, or him or you and me? Going after him. You know how the fans feel about the media.
They'll only side with him if he pitches well.
Right. They will get behind him if he pitches well, no matter.
And if he pitches well, then he's not going to be criticized by Joel Sherman or us.
Right. But I'm saying, but if he gets criticized for maybe being a little nozzly on Twitter, and there's an article or we say something, or hey, that's a bad job out of him, the fans will all come to his rescue and support him if he's pitching well, and then we're the bad guys. So his relationship with the media, Michael, as long as he's pitching well, even if it's a bad relationship because he's being maybe nozzly or whatever, the fans will still get behind him because he's pitching well and defend him.
Robert in Indiana. Robert.
Indiana.
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
Hey, I was just thinking about it. Stroman, we're going to have guys like that to win. Soto, I mean, you're not doing the 90s model where you're building
Your line is terrible, Robert. You're going to have to call back on a hard line, but I get what you're saying, but you can't say there's nothing out there. There are other free agent pitchers out there. If they get Stroman, it's probably because they're desperate to get a pitcher in this price range, and they might think that what Jordan Montgomery or Blake Snell will command is an overpay. And that's their right to think it's an overpay. That's their right. But you can't drop down to a certain level of financial commitment if the guy's not good enough. Now, Marcus Stroman's lifetime ERA, right around 3.7, which is not bad. The velocity on his sinker, which is his money pitch because he keeps the ball on the ground, has been going down over the years because he's 32 years old. If he can pitch, I agree with Don, they'll hold their nose. They'll go through the fact that he's blocked half of Yankee Nation. He's taken on the Yankees and completely ripped them since they didn't get him in 2019. He's obliterated Cashman every chance that he could get in a really mocking tone. Seems like he rebelled when the Yankees couldn't win because Cashman said that he couldn't help us. So, I mean, does he have a last laugh if Cashman has to turn to him? Maybe he does. But great deodorant is success. Let's go to Vinny in Florida. Vinny.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Vin.
What's up, Vin?
I just wanted to say and listen to you guys just as much as I can down here in Florida. I love you guys.
Thanks.
New Yorker, moved down here like 19 years ago, and I love you guys.
Thank you.
Just wanted to start off with that. And I think what the Yankees need to do, and correct me if I'm wrong, trade Mr. Torres to the Marlins down here for one of those 3-stud pitches, because next year, when he's up for contract, they're going to have to give him a boatload, and they're going to need every penny for Soto, and we aren't going to win with pitching. So I think that's something they should definitely think about, and I wanted your thoughts on that.
I think the Yankees have to make a very, very informed decision right away. Is Gleyber Torres in your future? Now, if he's in your future, you're probably going to have to lock away $28 to $30 million a year to sign him. Do you think you're going to do that? And if you don't think you're going to do that, then you have two choices. Ride with him this year, where he's probably going to put together a great year because he's going to be a free agent, or get rid of him and get something for him rather than draft compensation. So if they decide they're not going to sign him and they're going to try to sign Soto, can you do both? Yeah, you could do both, but it's not probably financially responsible. Then you probably could get something from the Marlins for Gleyber Torres. But the Yankees have also rebuilt their offense. And Don, if you replace Torres with Oswald Peraza, are you really taking a step back that will hurt you? I'm glad I don't have to make these decisions.
I know. No, that's a tough one. Now, what's the money situation with all those pitchers in Florida?
They all make nothing.
Man, so those are not.
I would love to get Luzardo. Love to get him.
But that's what the Marlins are going to try to hold on to. They're not that far away, and why would they be giving up guys that they don't have to pay yet? Now, I don't know when they become free agents. That's usually when you can get them, but if they're bargains, Michael, wouldn't the Marlins want to hold on to them?
Yeah, but the Marlins probably also want to make the playoffs, and they need offense. And, they've got a lot of pitching. So they have to choose which pitcher they want to give up.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's the way the Yankees could turn, because you look at tradable assets, Gleyber Torres is going to command something good, because you know what? He's a good player. But is he a good enough player for you to keep long-term at the end of this year? That's the question the Yankees have to ask. All right, time for Peter. And Peter, when somebody, what was that great movie with Vince Vaughn?
Swingers?
No. When the great line, interesting strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it works out.
Oh, dodgeball.
Yeah.
Talking about the security dodgeball.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, guys, Peter Rosenberg.
This is the guy. Wait, this is the guy? You're thinking of getting your suit from this guy? For your wedding? Are you sure? We can do better. The Black Tux is here to help. Rent or buy, online or in a showroom, on your terms. Shipped to you wherever you are, guaranteed to fit. Because you deserve better. The Black Tux. Formal wear for your moment.
At Care.com, you can find all the help you need. You can find babysitters, and you can find nannies. You can find dog walkers who'll step in as your best friend's new best friend, and housekeepers who can get your floors looking great, at least for a little bit. You can find companions and helpers and caregivers, but most importantly, you can find out what it's like to not have to do it all on your own. Find all the care you need at Care.com.
See everything your store can do with tools from Square. Your inventory automatically restocks, so you never run low. Your online store stays open 24/7, so you're always ready to sell. Your payments are processed in seconds, so customers can breeze through checkout. And with one account to manage it all, you've got more time for taking time out. Get your all-in-one retail system by signing up at square.com today.
There's an easier way. From little fixes to big projects, taking care of your home is easy with Thumbtack. Download the Thumbtack app and start caring for your home today.
Guys, let's be honest. Buying pants sucks. It should not be this difficult. I'm looking for that one pair of pants that does everything. These just came in. They're the only pant from Fabletics Men. 4-way stretch, done. All-way stretch, you're going to feel the difference. The best thing about the only pant, honestly, everything. You almost forget about the deal that you're getting. Same premium quality as Lululemon, but at a third of the price.
Get ready for the British Basketball League. 10 teams, one electrifying league. Global talent, local passion. The British Basketball League.
Are you sure you don't want to go bowling with us tonight? Yeah, no.
There's my little marzipan. Oh, my daughter gives the best hugs.
We're just passing through on our way to the Jazz Jamboree. And we wanted to thank America's #1 motorcycle insurer for saving us money.
Mara, your parents are
exactly like me.
Play daily fantasy. Just pick more or less on player stats like points, assists, rebounds, and more. You can win up to 25 times your cash. Go for the win across the country and flex on them with Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Visit prizepicks.com/TV for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy made easy.
This is Aaron Judge, and I want to introduce you to the All Rise Foundation. Our mission is to inspire children and youth to become responsible citizens by engaging them in activities that encourage them to reach unlimited possibilities. We accomplish this through our All Rise Pro Camps, Aspiring Leaders Program, and our mini grant program that supports our youth's education, leadership skills, health, and well-being. We began in my hometown of Linden, California, expanded to my college town of Fresno, California, and as of last year, I was fortunate to share All Rise with my home for the next 8 years in New York City. Join me and my foundation as we all rise to support youth in our community at our next All-Star Evening on January 25th, 2024.
Show me what you're cooking. Oh, let me see the moves. You got the whole world looking like the same kind of magic taking hold of you.
If you get Yes on TV, then you get the Yes app for free. Download now.
Welcome back to the show. You know, there's a lot that's been said about the Dolphins and the Chiefs game.
Sure.
That's going to be on Peacock. And I guess you can sign up for Peacock, which is for $5.99. There's 2 tiers, so $5.99 or $10 something. And you could watch the game and cancel it.
But you know what? The beauty is you'd still have it in a couple of weeks, and you can enjoy the wonderful Royal Rumble that last Saturday in January. How about that?
There you go. So a lot of the criticism from a lot of people in our business Well, the NFL, it's all a money grab. You know, it's like it's never enough. Any of the people that say that, right? Have they ever turned down money on their contracts? Or do they go for the last dollar, too?
I mean, I don't know if I like that comp exactly.
Why? I think it's terrible that people have to pay for it. I get it. But to criticize the NFL, which, by the way, is not a nonprofit. It's a business. They got $110 million, right, from Peacock for this one game. That's $3 million a team. Is that anything to sneeze at?
No, and I don't want to get into some deep political conversation.
Right.
But by the same logic you're using, then it goes back to what I was saying last week. I understand why General Mills has just randomly upped their prices to $8 a box. Because they can get more money. Why not just keep sucking more from people? They need cereal, right? Like, at what point do you draw the line of going, yeah, it's one thing to turn down money if your employer offers it to you. It's another thing to keep demanding that your patrons who've supported your league just keep hemorrhaging money, even though none of them are making more money. Now, in the case of Peacock, I don't think it's that big a deal to ask people to pay $5 for one playoff game. Okay. But in general, that logic, especially from the NFL, who charges a ton for absolutely everything.
I mean, listen, Michael, they print money. They get ratings that no other sport or even program can ever dream of. And, oh, by the way, they just laid off 200 employees today.
The NFL?
Yeah, so...
What?
It's a bad job. It's a bad look.
It is a bad look. I'm not going to argue about that. But it's a business. Now, the way it stops, you keep pushing people, and people finally say enough. But I don't think that enough is in the vocabulary of fans when it comes to football.
Understood, but but it's not right to tick them off. And the other thing that just the arrogance of just making it seem like I should be excited about it. Oh, history will be made.
Well, that's
the first ever playoff game.
That's Tonka truck.
I mean, no, that's exactly what it is. But it's still insulting. And like I said, every sport dreams of getting these types of ratings. It's incredible. Television shows can't even sniff these ratings.
And you know what? They're not going to get great ratings at Peacock. And they might get 9 million people watching. It's going to cost them. But they're saying 3 million team, it's worth it.
Right, but you do tick off fans, and listen, will those fans go away?
No, they won't, and that's why they'll continue to do it.
But you still. This is the one thing I would say to Roger Goodell. The one thing that you always have to be aware of is the continuing growth of your sport and making sure that the next generation is interested in your sport. And I guess that's why they'll say, well, that's why we go to the app, because this is the future. But there could be a dad out there that would watch that game, that is now not going to watch that game because they're not a Chief fan, and they're not going to watch they're not as interested in the game, so they won't watch that day. And there could be a fan that's lost, or there could be somebody that's really ticked off and say, all right, I'm done. And it maybe it's not a majority of people, it's not a lot of people, but you tick off a few, and they know a few, or their kids end up not being as into football as they would have been. You just don't want to be in the business of ticking any fan off.
But they have,
and never take it for granted that it's always going to be there.
Don, they did the unconscionable thing of seat licenses, which essentially was pay us money so you could pay us money. And that didn't tick people off. But they got rid of a lot of the waiting list, but you know what?
Right.
It's still jammed.
Yeah, but it's also not anywhere near where their revenue stream is. I mean, it's not that they could be empty every single Sunday and still print money, because the overwhelming majority of their money comes from television, and the overwhelming majority of people that consume it on television. I know diehard football fans that have never been to an NFL game,
but Don,
and have no interest in ever going to an NFL game.
The TV contracts that they're under now run out for 10 years. They don't have to worry about anything.
I just don't think you should ever be in the business of ticking people off. And the money that they're going to make is a drop in the bucket to money that they make. You're telling me that there wouldn't be an over-the-air offer that would be comparable to that?
No, there wasn't. Because there's 3 games on NBC in the playoffs. But NBC wants to have people check out Peacock, download the app. They'll do the whole thing to go through it.
Now, that will probably, I don't know what it would get. Because what's the average on
Amazon?
Amazon, maybe 9, 10 million?
13, 14. This will be about
13,
9.
14. All right. Now, listen, it may be about the same just because it's a playoff game as opposed to just a regular season game. It's still probably about 7 or 8 million more less than it would get over the air, right? So why would you ever be in the business of losing 7 million viewers on something?
Because they calculated it's worth almost $4 million a team. We'll lose the viewers that one game.
Because I'll never begrudge what baseball or any of the other do. They hemorrhage money during COVID. They don't make nearly as much money as the NFL does. But it's just amazing the money that they make. And I can understand a fan being ticked off. I don't know if I'll watch.
Well, I have
if
Peacock,
I happen to be home. Oh, no, I don't.
You don't even know if you do you?
My app, my television right now is like my finances. It's all into what Nancy wants or I have no idea. I have no idea if I have Peacock. But even if I did, I don't know if I'm home.
You know, it's the really tough
I'll probably listen to it on the radio. That's where I end up listening to most of my games anyway because I'm running around doing something. But that might be a game I end up taking a knee on just because I don't want to be bothered.
The tough thing is NBC Universal has all of Saturday.
Right.
And they said, Browns-Texans. You know what that sounds like? Free TV. Kansas City, Miami, go ahead and fork over the $6.
And you know what else? I think Don might have mentioned this earlier in the week. You think all the Swifties are going to pay? See, maybe get a look at Taylor? It's a smart move by them. That's the game to put on.
What a hard pressed fan you have to be to watch a game, to pay for a game, to see your favorite artist sitting and watching.
I'll give the NFL credit. That will be over the air in Miami and Kansas City.
Right. Well, I think legally they have to do that.
But at the same time, because the Chiefs have been so good the last decade, and I'm telling you, it's a very underrated fan base, Miami. There's Dolphin fans all over.
Everywhere.
All right, Gordon Damer, who works here, is a Dolphin fan. I know a lot of Dolphin fans. Those people are going to have to watch it on Peacock. And so it's going to tick a lot of people off. I just don't think any business should ever be in a position where they're going to tick people off. And be careful of the addiction. I know it sounds ridiculous, and we went through a pandemic and a work stoppage and all that stuff, Michael, but, you know, you go back 75 years ago, baseball was untouchable. It was our nation's pastime. It was bigger than any other sport. It wasn't close. And now it's competing with the NBA for number 2. And in some markets, losing. So nothing's forever.
In the 5 o'clock hour, I'm going to rank for you guys the NFL playoff games in order of sexiness. Would you like to know?
So it's a sexy meter.
It's a sex meter.
And we have a sexy guest, too, with Dan Orlovsky at 5:15.
That's right. Well, I'm going to warm you up, though, for Dan by breaking it down for you. All 6 games, sexiest to least sexy. From Michael K. naked eating pizza on the chest to prime Suzanne Summers, 1 through 6. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when I'm getting ready for a game, I have to be prepared. I have my lineup cards, the latest team stats, and, of course, my ball.
I needed something in the shop, comfortable. I wear Brunt boots, as you see, got them on my feet right now. Keeps you warm, it keeps you dry, triple layered comfort.
Comfortable in the morning, comfortable in the afternoon. These feel like kind of like sneakers.
They're waterproof, durable. Been wearing them for over a year now. They're absolutely amazing.
This is the only shoe I wear in here now. Brown boots are cool.
Wearing Brunt boots, my feet, my back, and my legs don't hurt at the end of the day.
Go online and try any of our gear on the job for 30 days, risk-free.
Guys, let's be honest. Buying pants sucks. It should not be this difficult. I'm looking for that one pair of pants that does everything. These just came in. They're the only pant from Fabletics Men. 4-way stretch, done. All-way stretch, you're going to feel the difference. The best thing about the Only Pant, honestly, everything. You almost forget about the deal that you're getting. Same premium quality as Lululemon, but at a third of the price.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
This is the guy. Wait, this is the guy? You're thinking of getting your suit from this guy? For your wedding? Are you sure? We can do better. The Black Tux is here to help. Rent or buy, online or in a showroom, on your terms. Shipped to you wherever you are, guaranteed to fit. Because you deserve better. The Black Tux. Formal wear for your moment.
There are a lot of us now, and it means so much when we can all be together, especially when we can do something good, like our yearly service project. We're also running a t-shirt fundraiser through Custom Ink to help raise more money and awareness for the cause. Our t-shirt fundraiser with Custom Ink makes it easy to share our campaign and help our community, and their design services team helped us get a design we love. I'm proud that we can make a difference together as a community. Come together for a cause. Get started today at customink.com.
Win big while streaming the Nets with Pick and Play on the Yes app. Make your picks before tip-off and win up to $10,000. Yes, Pick and Play. It's the game within the game, only on the Yes app.
Not just food, it's energy, health, confidence, hope, and even love. Yes, love.
Breakfast in the classroom contributes to kids being more focused, which leads to higher grades, and simply just their well-being.
Learn more about how No Kid Hungry is helping end child hunger in America at helpnokidhungry.org.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
The Chiefs and the Dolphins, which, I mean, that's the type of game that would get huge viewership because it's cold weather. People love to watch cold weather games. It's going to be minus 18 degrees in terms of wind chill in Kansas City. So that loss by Miami to Buffalo was, I have some stats here, guys. The Chiefs' past 10 home games, 9-1, 4-0 in the playoffs, won under 40 degrees. It's likely the coldest game in Dolphins history. Coldest game, ironically, was in 2008 in Kansas City. It was 10 degrees at kickoff. Dolphins, 10 straight losses with a kickoff temperature below 40 degrees. They lost by an average of 17 per game. So the Arrowhead kickoff Saturday night is minus 8 degrees with an minus 18 wind chill factor. So that's the game. That's the type of game that people watch. Now, we're talking about the fact that it is actually going to be on Peacock, so you have to pay for it. Bill Clayton, we have great listeners. We really do. They're smart, and they can really hit the point sometimes better than us. Bill Clayton writes, fellas, fans pay $20 for a beer at the game. They can't pay $5.99 for a month for their game, plus movie shows and live events. Come on.
No, but he's missing the point. You know you're going to pay for beer.
Right.
You know it.
And by
You've
the way,
always had to pay for
that
beer.
part's disgusting too, though.
No, of course it is. But you don't have to have a beer at the game, but you know that you're going to have to pay. But football has always been free. And matter of fact, because of the contracts, even when they moved to ESPN, if it's on ESPN, and for some reason you don't have cable or you have a basic package that doesn't have ESPN, they still were obligated to give it to you over the air so you could see it for free. And now they've taken away some regular season games, and now they're taking away a playoff game for the first time. So I get it. It's business. Michael ultimately is right. But fans don't have to be happy about it. So it's not the same thing. And the idea of, well, I can tick them off and they're still going to be back, still's not great. And don't sit there and sell me that history is going to be made and it's a good thing when you're offering something that has always been free and always over the air until recently when ESPN started doing games. That now all of a sudden you got to pay for it. And I know it's not a lot of money. You can cancel it and all that. But it's not great to do to fans. So to compare it to the beer, you know you're paying for beer. But this was always something, historically. Playoffs,
but
free.
The one thing that Peter brought up earlier, and he wasn't trying to make the point, but he did. You're talking about cereal and milk and then beer and a game. Cereal and milk, those are necessities. You have to buy them. You don't have to buy this. When it gets out of hand and you say enough is enough, then the NFL is going to have to reevaluate and take a step back. But, Don, it's a never-ending cash cow. They're never told enough is enough. They're pigs.
I know, but I don't know if it's always a good business sense to see. They might actually cut their ratings in half being on Peacock for that game.
Yep, they might.
So those are there could be millions of people that are not going to watch that game because it's on Peacock. I just don't think that that's a great long-term play. Now, it's a lot of money, but they would have gotten they're printing money, and I get that eventually everything's going to end up on the app, and you wouldn't get as much money if they gave it for free elsewhere. If it was on Peacock and NBC, because everybody would just consume it on NBC and not bother going to Peacock. So I understand Peacock's exclusivity. I do. But when you give people something for free forever and then charge, it might be apples and oranges as far as like things that we need, like cereal and bread and milk.
But didn't we run into this down here in New York? When the Yankees went off of PIX and went to MSG, people's heads exploded, and it became an accepted thing. It just does.
But they were right to have their heads explode, and then it became an accepted thing. But it's 1 out of 160, or how many games that ended up being on Amazon?
No, not 15, Amazon. 20? I'm saying MSG. Remember when they went on cable, people went nuts.
Of course. But you know what? The playoff games weren't on MSG.
This is different now. The playoff game's a different step. It really is.
And we saw it. It was crazy. I mean, when I grew up, not every playoff game was available. So I get that. But, now conference finals on ESPN and TNT, that was unheard of at the time.
Yep.
Those are supposed to be over-the-air products. So now, but then that's one thing because everybody pretty much has cable and it doesn't affect people. But and I got the Thursday game. They created a package for it. I get it. It's a regular season game at the end of the day. But a playoff game against two very popular teams, the defending Super Bowl champions. Yep. It's
and yeah, I get it. It's not cereal. If you want to get into the nuts and bolts of it, you don't need cereal either. You could eat something else. The fact is, this is the game we watch. This is, for the last now 30-some years at least, America's true pastime. This is what everyone gathers to watch. So I do understand the idea that it's kind of gross that they have to always try to get more.
Now, there are 6 games, but that's how big business is, Peter. They always try to get more. Peter's going to rate the sexiness of them. So here are the games: Cleveland and Houston. This is Saturday, Miami and Kansas City. Sunday, we have 3 games: Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Green Bay, Dallas, L.A., Detroit. And then Monday night, ESPN gets the worst game of all, Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. Rate them, Peter.
Do it. What do you want first? Most attractive
Give me Michael K. Homely. Michael K. Homely first.
But when you get a rate, you always want to go 5 to 1, right? So you want to go bottom to top.
All right. So here is your shirtless Michael K.
with a pizza with cheese dripping onto the chest.
Just absolutely a disgusting.
Picking the mozzarella out of the chest hair.
Oh, geez, Louise. I hate to say it. Who would have thought a few weeks ago that hideous game, that 3 walking down the street with a beer belly? It's the Eagles and the Bucks on Monday Night Football. I hate to do it to the company. Big company guy.
Oh, it'll get ratings. Don't worry.
No, yeah, I think they're going to be just fine. But the Eagles have been pure hot garbage recently. The Baker Mayfield-led Bucks, it's a nice story, but you have a completely floundering 11-5 Eagles team against a NFC South 9-8 Bucks. That's your number 1 most repug, and we'll rank it 6 in
All right, so let's go to 5 now. Let's just take it, in terms of our show. Number 5, it's either a Pusick or a Don. So what's the number 5?
We'll go Pusick is uglier than Don because of the beer, obviously. So your Pusick vehicle, this one took some hard thinking. And I know there's going to be disagreements, but I'm going to go with the Browns and the Texans.
I'm with you.
I would agree.
Is the next least sexy. Now, listen, the Browns story is fun. The fact of the matter is this Browns team is very impressive, and the fact they're able to do this with 19 different quarterbacks, 4 to be exact, and now Joe Flacco. Interesting. Plus, CJ Stroud is sexy, the quarterback for the Texans. But no matter what, just hearing Browns-Texans on paper, Don, that has the Saturday 4:30 written all over it.
It's no surprise that the 2 South teams in each conference are 6 and 5. Because the South in both conferences is the hairy mole on a gorgeous face.
Yep. It's a great point.
Honest.
So you get the South from the NFC first and then the South from the AFC second. So that is your second most hideous
Let's
game.
go to Don now.
Don, so this would be the we're getting now from putrid to passable looks.
Right.
Okay.
And I think we're going to all be in lockstep in order here. That would be the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills.
You're very good at this.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are not sexy at this point. Quarterback problems, no TJ Watt, not a very good team in general. And the Bills have been surging. And the Bills are just interesting. And to be honest, no matter what you think about them, Josh Allen as a player.
Whoa, breaking news, guys.
Seriously?
Nick Saban retiring.
Wow. Interesting. I don't want to talk about it more than my sexiness, but
no, I'm with you.
But that's worth note.
Yeah.
Wow. What is he? Late 60s? Mid 60s?
No, he's in his, I think he's early 70s. I'll check.
No, not a great day for the older coaches.
No, it's really not.
Sports.
Big day for AARP, though.
Watch out. What's Popovich?
72 years old.
So, 72. Wow. All right. But as I was saying, the reason this game is sexy is certainly not the Steelers, who are pretty repug, but the Buffalo Bills, with Josh Allen's ups and downs, the relationship with Stephon Diggs, it all adds up to sexy. It's all interesting. You can't deny. And a home Buffalo game with the Bills Mafia jumping through tables, that catapults that game, even though the Steelers are involved. I think it's pretty
All
sexy.
right, give us the Peter sexy one.
All right, now we're into the top 3 sexiest games.
And the next two are a combination of Alan Hahn or Rick DiPietro.
Yeah, at the top. Sure, that's fair. You got to go the Packers and them boys down in Dallas for me. That, to me, is the next sexiest game. I know we could have a little bit of a disagreement between 3 and 2, maybe even between 2 and 1, but obviously legendary franchises. Guys, was the last time they got together in the playoffs the Des Bryant catch-no-catch? Was that moment? About 10 years ago?
The what?
The catch-no-catch Des Bryant?
Was the last time what?
With the Cowboys and Packers?
Oh, it has to be, yeah, I think.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is fun. These are a couple of marquee franchises. Packers surging, Jordan Love, beautiful. First playoff game we get to see this stud. And Dak Prescott's the best version of himself we've ever seen. This is dead sexy. And that is, by the way, I'll be hosting Ballard and Company at the house. You guys are invited.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thank you.
Now, do you want to save you 1 and 2 because we have Dan?
No, go through it.
Go through it. All right, so next one is Hahn.
Okay, so hold on. Dan will agree with this. I don't want to hear this. The second most sexy game of the weekend, in my humble opinion, is the Miami Dolphins at the Kansas City Chiefs. This game, of course, would be sexier if the Chiefs were chiefing, but they're really not. And let's be honest, the Dolphins aren't fitting either. I mean, this is a game, Tyreek Hill going back to Arrowhead, Taylor Swift, lots of fun stuff there, but the meat and potatoes, the actual football, not that sexy these days, which is why it's 2. And 1, guys.
The DiPietro. Yummy.
The DiPietro game, if you will, or the Dan Orlovsky, since he's on hold. The Goff Stafford Bowl in Detroit. I mean, I am so excited to see what Ford Field looks like in a beautiful primetime NBC vehicle on Sunday night. That is the sexiest game of the weekend.
I 100% agree with
up and down.
I do too. I do too. Let's see what Dan thinks.
Here we
Time
go.
now for the Dan Orlovsky Report, brought to you by Sansone Auto Mall. 10 top brands, over 2,000 vehicles, one place, Sansone Auto Mall in Woodbridge. And the great Dan Orlovsky joins us now. So, Dan, I know you're going to love every single one of these games. What's the sexiest one for you this weekend?
Yeah, obviously, I love the number one, the Rams going into Detroit. That's what made it so fascinating watching them play last week. There's so many reasons why. Obviously, Matthew going back home. He's never played a playoff game in Detroit. Now he is for another team. Jared was told by Sean McVay, and I love Sean, hey, you're not good enough, dude. Like, you took us to a Super Bowl. That's not enough for me. So just like a little bit of, I guess, disrespect in that regard. Also, I think that either of these teams, if they play, an A game and you catch San Francisco on maybe a B day, you could go beat San Francisco in San Francisco, which I think we all would say shocking, surprising. So I do love that one. The only thing I would say is the second one for me is Houston, partly because CJ Stroud's having a rookie season that we can't even describe in many ways. But Cleveland goes down there and wins. Their next game's on the road in Baltimore.
Now, before we go any further with the games, you're in the car right now. I don't know if you have heard this. Nick Saban is retired. So he's out at Alabama. Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
So not a great
I
day
just
for
saw
70-year-old coaches. What do you think of these two moves?
Yeah, we basically did the whole show NFL Live on the Pete Carroll news. Initially, the report was, some type of analyst role or advisory role, and you sit there and go, okay, well, they're ushering in a new era. And listening to Coach Carroll's press conference, it became very clear he was fired and that he still wants to coach. So, one, is someone going to call Coach Carroll and say, hey, will you come at least sit down with us? Two, if he stays there as an advisory role, but it was very clear he wanted to be the coach, does that impact who will go coach there? Because you have to go take that job knowing Coach Carroll is in the building and wanted to coach that team. Does that impact it? I think Dan Quinn goes there, ultimately. Number three, what are they going to do with Geno Smith? He has no guaranteed money left on his contract, and they have the 16th pick of the NFL draft. So that's my thoughts on the Coach Carroll situation. Coach Saban, not all surprised. You've heard rumors about that for a couple of years now. Eventually, and obviously, the age speaks to itself. Greatest college football coach in the history of the game, and one that should be celebrated in that regard.
Let me just follow up the Pete Carroll stuff, though. Why would they not want him to coach? I thought he did a good job this year.
Yeah, I mean, Adam Schefter said that, there was maybe this thought that he was struggling to connect with younger players. I don't know how accurate that is or whatnot. That's something that Schefter kind of said. I don't know. They've been good. They were a playoff team last year, went to San Francisco and actually played them solid for 3 quarters. Is it the desire to get young? And in this division, you have to deal with 2 young head coaches in Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay. So do they just believe, hey, we've got to get younger? Do they believe we've got to get offensive-minded or offensive-centric? Again, I think it's going to end up being Dan Quinn, but I don't know. And that's why I said it'll be fascinating to hear John Schneider, because to Schefter's reports, this was an ownership decision, and it'll be interesting to see John Schneider, the general manager's thoughts on it.
All right, back into the playoffs. Philadelphia just looks like a one-and-done team to me, but did they get the perfect draw to extend to the divisional round?
The perfect draw maybe from the viewpoint of they played there early in the season and beat Tampa Bay up. Imperfect draw because Tampa Bay, at least defensively, majors in the things that Philadelphia has struggled with. Now, Philly struggles with, in many ways, a lot of stuff. But Tampa Bay defensively is going to do something very specific. I'd be shocked on the first snap of the game if they do not blitz Philadelphia. There is not an offense in the playoffs, certainly, but anything in the NFL that handles blitz and the pressure worse than Philly. And that's something that Tampa Bay and Todd Bowles do coming off of the sidelines. So I don't love that matchup for Philly. And Baker, with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, Baker's revitalized his career, and they can throw it. Philadelphia cannot cover a soul right now. Outside of Darius Slay, we'll see if he plays. So I still think, push come to shove, my gut is going to tell me Philadelphia wins the game. But I don't feel great about that situation right now. And if they go one and done, they can't run it back just copy and paste next year with their coaching staff.
Green Bay and Dallas, the Mike McCarthy Bowl. I mean, how do you see this one?
Yeah, it's not all that different than the one I just spoke about. Dallas will have a lot of success offensively. They played last year, and Dallas struggled to throw the football in between the numbers. Now, that's a place where they've excelled this year. Green Bay took it away. Then they adjusted, started throwing the ball outside the numbers, and had a lot of success. Green Bay's defense has not played well this year. Better as of late, but they haven't played an offense like Dallas. So I think Dallas has success offensively throwing the football. The interesting thing is going to be when Dallas is on defense. Green Bay, again, like the game I just spoke about, majors in the things that Dallas is the worst at defensively. Number one, they use a ton of pre-snap motion. Dallas struggles with that. Number two, they put 2 tight ends on the field on a consistent basis and run the ball, and Dallas struggles with that. Number three, they run a ton of play action. That, one, Dallas struggles with, and two, helps with that pass rush. So it'll be interesting to see if they play a ton of man coverage versus some of the young speed that Green Bay has. I do believe that they could control the game offensively. So, again, I think Dallas wins that game. But if Green Bay can just hit a shot or two, they can hang.
Can Miami score in Kansas City?
Oh, absolutely. Now, they play, obviously, in Germany this year. They only scored 14. Missed opportunities was the name of that game in many ways offensively for Miami. And that's really been the way they've lost. Last week versus Buffalo, missed opportunities. On the road in Philadelphia, missed opportunities. Difference is missed opportunities send you home now when you're in the dance. So I think they could score, but there can't be this, it just went off Tyreek's hands, or Tua just missed them for a 40-yard game. Like, they're going to have... if they're there and the plays are there, they can absolutely go in there and win.
Now, a big story this week, Dan, here on our show has been, Rodgers on McAfee. So we had on Robert Saleh on Monday, and, that was the day that Rodgers said we have to get rid of the BS that doesn't pertain to winning next year. And I asked Robert Saleh, well, what he does on McAfee, is that the BS? He said, no, that doesn't even enter the locker room. The reason you're so valuable is that you're on this side and you've been on that side. Does stuff like that, outside noise, what Rodgers is saying about conspiracies and stuff like that, does that affect the locker room?
Of course it does. It's all over your locker room. You're ignorant to think it's not a part of your locker room. It's 2024. Social media is everywhere. And there's going to be guys in the locker room that disagree with some of the thoughts of Aaron. Now, does it become a problem? That I don't know that answer. It could, but to think it's not in the locker room, or there's not going to be people that disagree with some of the thoughts of Aaron, there's no way that he can believe that and say that. Again, it doesn't mean it becomes an issue. It doesn't mean it becomes a problem, but it absolutely is in your locker room.
Well, he did say, listen, it gives us stuff to talk about, but I don't think it impacts winning.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. You could sit there and say it doesn't impact winning, but this is where it does impact. If you are losing, it becomes a thing that players or people can point to. It becomes something that could be disconnecting. A lot of the conversations that Aaron has are topics that he's very passionate about, and it sounds like he's very informed and educated on them. That could be divisive to people, right? And so it may not have a game-day tangible impact on winning, but if you're not winning or you're going through some hurdles, it could become a sticking point for people, absolutely.
Do you think that if Rodgers had played this season, he would have gotten into this many sort of controversial issues, or you think sheerly dealing with a real season would have kept him more focused on just football?
No, I think he still would have. I think whether you agree with him and Pat, or you like him or Pat, they don't care. They are unbelievably comfortable in their own skin. They don't do things or not do things because of what people might think and or say about them. So I don't think if Aaron played this year, he would have not been on Pat's show. I don't think he would have not shared some of the things that he shared. And I don't think that Pat's time with him would have been really any different. Those two guys are very much so beat of their own drum personalities. And partly the reason why, they're so popular and beloved and have had the success that they've had.
All right, so final thing, Dan. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but we do wonder about this. He's going to be 41 next year. With everything that goes along with it, is the juice worth the squeeze?
The Jets' 2 seasons the past 2 years have been directly blown, negatively impacted, ruined by poor quarterback play in many ways. Mm-hmm. So, the juice worth the squeeze? Absolutely. There are not many people on the planet that throw it like that guy.
And you think he could still throw it like that, coming off this injury, 2 years where he hasn't played his best? He's 2 years removed from the MVP performance, so not that much. But you think he could be that guy?
My initial reaction, Michael, is yes. obviously, I don't know, because he's coming off a significant injury. Now, it seemed his rehab was going great and whatnot. I'm not going to pretend to do the doctor stuff. My initial reaction is yes, partly because of, again, not trying to play doctor, probably because he's a maniac. I say about guys like him, and initially people take it as a negative, it's meant as a positive. They're sociopaths. Like these greats are sociopaths. Brady, Tiger Woods, Aaron Rodgers. When it comes to their craft, they're maniacs about it. And I learned long ago: do not doubt greats. Don't doubt them, because they can prove people wrong more than 99.9% of the people on the planet. So yes, I still think he can.
Good stuff, Dan. Enjoy the games this week, and we appreciate it.
You as well, guys.
That's the Dan Orlovsky Report, brought to you by Sanson Auto Mall. Make your best deal right now at Sanson Auto Mall and tell them Bart Scott sent you. Take an extra $1,000 off your best deal. Call 1-800-SANSON today. Get another chance to get a Super Box and the Super Box Bonanza 5 coming up before ENN. We'll take your phone call, some basketball news when we get back as well. So stay with us. We're having a good time here on this Wednesday. Kayla Greco-Rosenberg and you on Yes and 98.7 ESPN. What's this music about?
Oh, it's got to be relevant to what we were talking about.
Oh, it has no relevancy
It's
at
just
all?
in Jacob's headspace.
Just a
You
vibe.
know what? I love the guy.
But
Bad
you're
choice.
not
music.
signing off.
Well, what is it? What is this? What is this instrumental?
It's Sprinter, Central C, Dave.
Oh, Central C. Okay, I like it. I'm not mad at it.
Well, it's the ESPN New York Superbox Bonanza 5. That's the new music for it. This year, each qualifier will take home a $25 Fanatics gift card and have a chance one of 10 super boxes with prizes including a big screen TV, Nintendo Switch, Meta Quest, and much more. Be caller number 55 right now at 888-987-ESPN to select a box for the big game with a chance to win $500 in the first and third quarters, $1,000 at halftime, and a final score payout of $2,000. All brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. Jay in Diker Heights. Jay.
What's up? Oh, my God.
I think you made some salient points.
Wow.
That's the abduction sound.
Let's go to Ralph in Brooklyn. Ralph.
Hello.
Hello, Ralph.
How are you?
Good. You have a good day.
Yeah.
Let's go
What's your
to
baseball phone?
E in Queens. E.
What's going on, guys? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Let's put some respect on Central C's name. That song is fire.
I enjoyed that.
It is a good song.
Wait,
it's Sprinter by
wait a
Central
minute.
C and Dave.
You believe that song is fire? It started out like a funeral dirge.
Yeah, hold on, but you got to let a song build.
Yeah, but you're coming out of break, though. You're coming out of break.
No, the 808s come in towards the
You got to wait for the 808s, Michael.
What are the 808s?
Don't worry about it.
What do you got, Ian?
I was just going to say, like, how do we get the consistency from Randall when he could put up 39 points a night? Where it's like, why is he so hit or miss? And the second thing was maybe Ja's injury was karma for being a nozzle over and over again and then impacting his team negatively and never being there because he wants to, point guns on live. It's insane. And also, Peter, where were you that entire Yankee conversation? Remember, you're a Yankee fan now.
Oh, my God. You are so right. I forgot.
Also, I'm going to push back on Randall. Randall's a very consistent player. R.J. Barrett was inconsistent. No, but Randall's giving you 25 a game.
No, he
might give you 39. Well, at the beginning of the year, he was coming back from the injury. He was coming back from an injury.
I understand, but in
general, he is consistent.
He has been scoring, but he can at times turn the ball over and be a little frustrating. But this year, not so much.
But consistently, he turns the ball over. He is a guy.
He is what he is.
Who's going to get you 25 and 10. He's a really good player. He's an all-star. And I think that trading R.J. Barrett gets one impediment out of the way. He's out of the paint. Let's go to Dave in Queens. Dave.
Guys, hi, can I join?
Yes,
sure. There he is. Desperately.
Thanks, guys. A couple things real quick. Where's that event, your next event? I keep missing it on the commercial. Can you please let me know?
What event?
Our Super Bowl event? Are we talking about that one? I don't even think we announced that yet, did we?
We have announced it. Tell us, Anthony.
Here we go. Anthony's going to tell you right now.
That'll be at Platt Deutsch in Long Island on what day is that? Before the Super Bowl?
The Friday before the Super Bowl.
Yes, the Friday, February 8th, I believe.
Yeah, there you
Platt Deutsch. It's the name of my third child.
Yeah, because on the radio that's very hard to catch. I've been putting in flat, and it comes out curse word. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
But yeah, listen. Hopefully, let me hit you with a couple points here. Jameis, let's see if he gets fined by New Orleans, because that would show no backing for the coach. Let's just say he didn't know, Allen, which I'm going to believe he didn't know. If he doesn't get fined, that just shows complete disrespect by the whole organization towards Allen. They just add on to the insult. And then I'd like to propose, if you're in victory formation, why doesn't the league just say you have to stay in victory formation? Maybe that has to be the rule. They'll call it the Jameis Winston, Jamal Williams rule, because so this shenanigans doesn't happen anymore.
You know what's also interesting, Dave? In a world where every play can be bet on, that's a sketchy move.
It is.
You're giving up. The defense is giving up because you're in the offense is in victory formation, and then you pound a touchdown in. Did somebody have the over? Did somebody bet that Williams was going to score a touchdown? You got to be wary of all of that stuff now. And also, the organization shouldn't fine Jameis Winston. Dennis Allen should. He's the coach.
You like to have the backing of the organization. Hey, you did wrong, but Winston's defense is that, the entire team wanted to do it.
Fine all 11 guys.
Right, but you got to get to the bottom of why was he so disrespected. Right, don't you? All right, you fined him, great, you punished him, whatever. But, hey, do we have the right coach here? What's the deal? Have you lost the room? You're always so worried about chemistry and making sure all the players are engaged. They in unison, defined you on the final play of a game, embarrassed you, doubled down by supporting each other after. I got to get to the bottom of why do you disrespect him so much? Is this just one agreement, or do you just not like him?
Did you see, Don, according to Andy Martino of SNY, the Mets are now considering signing Wandy Peralta.
Okay.
You're going to get Joe Girardi behind the plate? Every single player you're signing is an ex-Yankee.
It's weird.
Off an 82 and 80 season.
Because you were here when I brought this point up. It's but Stearns wasn't here for all of that.
Right.
Right, Peter? It's we were talking about, you could say, well, he's maybe just hey, it's what you're comfortable. You sit there, you're watching the team play. He was in Milwaukee. So is it just? But now it almost feels like it's beyond coincidence now. But what would be the logic behind it?
Well, the logic
he
would
wasn't
be that
watching Yankee games.
Then the Yankee, a good GM watches everything.
But I'm saying he's watching everything. But it's not I'm in New York and so I want to steal these Yankees. He wasn't in New York.
So
he was in Milwaukee.
Maybe Yankee fans should give Cashman a break, because obviously people value everybody that was on that team. They think they're better than 82 and 80.
Or they're players that they can get on the cheap. I don't know. These are not none of them are needle movers.
If I'm the Yankees, I'd want back Wandy Peralta. So I don't think he's going to be gotten on the cheap. If he was getting on the cheap, the Yankees would sign him. Who just won from Saugerties? Can you tell me that, Anthony?
Well, his name is Harold.
Right.
And we have now given away 2 of the big prizes today.
Hello.
Now we gave away the Nebula capsule projector.
Wow.
That's not nothing.
No, it's not.
Look at us.
I would like a projector.
I'm sure you would.
Let's go to Frankie in Putnam County.
Frank.
Let's be frank. Lee Goldberg is earning his salary, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's watching the news today.
People love weather.
No, I love the weather. As I get older, it's a big deal.
You almost think that they use analytics like the Yankees and gave him a workload rest a couple days a week.
No, Lee's a workhorse.
He does work from home on Fridays.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
How do you know
He does
that?
it from his backyard.
From his backyard?
Yeah.
Well, what if it's raining?
Well, then he has an awning or something. I don't know. But he was off.
Right.
When it snowed on, when did it snow?
Sunday morning.
Sunday
he was
morning.
making snowballs.
And he wrote hi Jeff, because Jeff Smith was filling in for him. He wrote hi Jeff in the snow.
Jeff Smith is very thin.
Awkwardly thin. He's very talented.
He's a southpaw. He's a southpaw, so he comes in with a lot of heat, like Lee Guterman.
A name I didn't expect to hear today.
I was going to call and complain a little bit about the 4 games the Giants lost this year, and maybe get picky about managing the clock, maybe spiking the ball in the Ram game, and complain about the Jet game. But then I thought about the totality of it. The last 3 Super Bowls the Giants won. I think you talked about this last year. How many billions of things went right in those years against the Patriots twice and the Bills year, beating San Francisco and then the Bills? Can I really be, is this a cop-out, can I really be that upset about 9 of 11 losing seasons, not quite 1964 to 1980, because you had 2 playoff spots the last 11 years? Or do I say to myself, maybe this is a pay it forward, an evening out of all the breaks they got?
But Frankie, you're not the craps table where you're due for a hot streak or you're due for a cold streak. You want your team to be competent and know what they're doing.
Yeah, but every time we talk to Red Sox fans, they'll take the 4 championships and all the last place finishes.
Yeah, but I don't think Giant fans have been happy with this team. They've been calling and complaining about the team.
Would you rather be a playoff team every single year and not win those Super Bowls? Or would you rather win the Super Bowls and be awful?
No, but the idea of listen, I can't complain. Their last Super Bowl's on my DVR. I mean, it's still fairly recent. It's over 10 years ago, but it's fairly recent.
It's recent.
The VCR wasn't even invented the last time the Jets won a Super Bowl. So but also it's not just about luck. It's about they were incompetent for a bunch of years, Michael. They couldn't get coaches right, firing coach after coach after coach. And you talk about, satisfied, didn't help Tom Coughlin keep his job.
Right.
Still fired him. So, I don't want my seasons to be just the luck of the draw. I'd like my team to eventually figure it out, and hopefully they have.
Andrew in Long Beach. Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
Hey, fellas. Thanks for having me on. I would like to make a point about potential Yankee pitching acquisitions this offseason. So I think that trading for Luzardo and Cease, it would require them to give up too many assets after, giving up a ton for Soto. So I think that maybe they go after Bieber. He's only 1 year left on the deal. He'll cost a little less. And then you sign Montgomery or Snell in free agency. Because I think they do need 2 more starting pitchers at least.
I like the way you're thinking, but I'm not quite sure I love Bieber. He seems to be kind of on the downside. And also, anytime you get a pitcher from the American League Central, who are they facing? Who are the stars they're facing? Look at the lineups you're facing in the American League Central. Now, it's not as unbalanced as it used to be, but you're still playing a lot of games against those teams in the division, and Bieber's numbers have gone down. Now, obviously, Matt Blake knows him best because he was with him in Cleveland. If the Yankees think he has something left, we'll see. But I'm always wary now. You could say, well, how about Dylan Cease? Dylan Cease's stuff, I think, is better than Bieber. Bieber's control is better than Cease, but Cease has really nasty stuff. You put yourself in a situation by trading for Soto, which is the thing to do. You use up a lot of draft capital, talent capital. There might not be that much that you want to give up after this. So they're really between a rock and a hard place. They really are. It's not going to be easy.
They might have to try a really wacky thing. Have some offense. They might have to do that.
I think their offense is going to be fine.
Well, that's an important piece, though. Because remember, and we've talked about this a lot, the last couple times they've made the postseason, their offense has been really lacking. They end up relying on Giancarlo Stanton, who somehow delivers in the playoffs more than he seems to in the regular season. And besides him and Judge, they just kind of go flat in the playoffs.
Maybe they're looking at Hampton, and they like him, Chase Hampton, and they think that he could be a 4th or 5th starter. Looking at Luis Gil, and they say, okay, maybe he could be a 4th or 5th starter. I don't know what they're thinking. I know that they want to get a pitcher. But, at what price?
But do you think they consciously made a decision, yes, we are going to go grab this fabulous offensive player, and we may pay a price pitching-wise?
No, here's what they did. We're going to go all in for Soto, and then we're going to get Yamamoto. I think they really thought they were going to get Yamamoto. And the thing that I worry about, they really thought they were going to get Ohtani. Then they didn't. They pivoted and got Stanton. And it's worked out in the postseason, but overall, would you rather Stanton's contract not be on your ledger right now? So are they going to pivot the wrong way? That's what they have to be careful about, not to pivot. I think they put all of their eggs in the basket of getting Yamamoto. They thought for sure they were going to get him. And they didn't. 1-800-919-3776. Is this Peter right now? Because this prompt dropped all the way down.
Yeah, sure it is.
Yeah, tell me about BetterHelp.
You done yet? It's 2 a.m. Why are you still scrolling through videos? You're not paying me overtime here. If you really want to see something new, why not change those shades that have been broken for the past 2 years? Let's tap the Thumbtack app, and in a matter of seconds, we'll find a pro to install new shades.
Okay.
With Thumbtack, you can easily find top-rated professionals for every home project.
Thumbtack, the easy way to care for your home. With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always. So you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
Listen, we get that ordering a suit online can seem a little risky. That's why we have a home try-on program. Go to thebblacktux.com/try. With so many good options, it might be hard to choose. We'll ship your selection to you to try out for 48 hours on us. When it arrives, put it on and make sure every detail's perfect. Once your 2 days are up, pack it back in the box, attach the free shipping label, and send it back to us. And when you're ready to rent for real, just head back to the Black Tux and make your order official.
Get tools that bring every angle of your beauty business together. Clients can book online 24/7 for multiple services and multiple staff, so scheduling is simple. And with client notes and stored payments, you can offer seamless checkouts, so clients keep coming back. Run your beauty business with tools that bring everything together. Get started at square.com today.
You've heard our story, the one about measuring twice, cutting once, and building something you're proud to put your name behind. What are we building? A different kind of workwear, inspired by the values of those who put in the work. Run. Try us on the job for 30 days risk-free.
Guys, let's be honest. Buying pants sucks. It should not be this difficult. I'm looking for that one pair of pants that does everything. These just came in. They're the only pant from Fabletics Men. 4-way stretch, done. All-way stretch, you're going to feel the difference. The best thing about the Only Pant, honestly, everything. You almost forget about the deal that you're getting. Same premium quality as Lululemon, but at a third of the price.
Friends in live competitions, and train like the pros with expert drills and metrics to track your progress. So when your moment comes, you'll be ready. Win reality. Baseball uncaged.
If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma or asbestos lung cancer, choose the right law firm by asking, what are your highest verdicts? What experience do you have? How many lawyers are on staff? How many clients have you represented? Speak to Whites and Luxembourg at 800-LAW-6789 to get unmatched answers. It's the biggest financial decision of your life. Call 800-LAW-6789 or visit mesowin.com.
Ooh, I love. Totally. But keep swiping. This is so much fun. This makes it so easy. Yes, that was a good one.
Let's go.
Play your favorite slots today and you can win the next big jackpot. Sign up now and we'll match your first deposit up to $1,000 in casino bonus funds only at GoldenNuggetCasino.com.
Children are the greatest joy and our best hope for a better future. Friends, they are the future. But did you know that millions of kids are facing hunger every day? Food is not just food. It's energy, health, confidence, hope, and even love. Yes, love.
Thank you!
Learn more about how No Kid Hungry is helping end child hunger in America at helpnokidhungry.org.
Be right there.
Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Teachers are skilled leaders, innovating to prepare students for our fast-changing world, expertly discovering solutions. Inspiring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready?
Chris Sheeran back here for the Michael K. Show. The Michigan Wolverines are champions for the first time since 1997, and Donovan Edwards gave them all the scoring they needed on his first 2 touches. Both 40-plus yard touchdown runs, and this one puts the victors valiant up 14-3 in the first. The Huskies had 301 yards of total offense. Michigan ran for 303. Between Edwards and this guy, Blake Corum, they accounted for 238 of those yards and scored 4 times, twice apiece. This Corum TD gave Michigan a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter. Michael Penix Jr. had a rough game. He threw 2 interceptions, and this one would seal the deal on a 4th down for the Huskies. He had thrown 2 picks in his last 5 games coming in and just 9 on the season. Michigan would add another score and win big, 34-13. As we mentioned, their first national title since they shared the honor with Nebraska back in 1997. And it's the first non-ACC or SEC team to win the title since Ohio State, another Big Ten squad, back in 2014. Michigan's mantra last night was ground and pound, and you could see the stark difference in the running game that we talked about earlier. Michigan wasn't even in the top 50 in rushing yards this season throughout Division I. However, you wouldn't know it by the way they ran all over the Huskies' defense last night. And Donovan Edwards and those 87 yards and 2 touchdowns on his first 2 carries. Unreal, which took a ton of pressure off J.J. McCarthy and the rest of the Michigan offense. And it gave the Michigan defense every advantage to putting the clamps on Heisman runner-up Penix Jr., who had his team averaging 36 points per game coming in, but were held to just 13, scoring 1 touchdown.
Don't care for it.
You don't think that was the point guard?
No.
Why? What did you think was better?
We said things.
He was very good, though.
But we know Mel's good.
I mean, but he's very good.
So I'm defending our points.
Spitting right in your face.
No, I'm just defending.
You two are drifting, and I'm glad about it.
What?
Really,
Well, the two
I've been
things
rooting for this
that.
for years.
You know, we're drifting. There's no
true.
evidence of it.
And then,
he didn't invite you to a party.
happy, and then he's happy about it.
He didn't invite you to the Andrew Gunling affair. You're drifting.
I don't want to bring this up again. I want to move on with our lives.
You know when people want to move on, Don?
When they know they're wrong.
When they have no answer.
But both things could be true. I could be disgusted with his lack of attempt to include us, and I still believe in my heart that he did not want us there.
Of course.
But I can get over it and still support him on the show.
Can I just say one last thing about that event that we're talking about? The day in question. It was when Natalie was in Argentina, so I was on my own. I was hanging out.
Free.
There is no world in which, if we had all been working together, I would have snuck out the door and not said what I was off to do. It was simply because it turned out to be a Friday. We were all separate, and it was a plan in the city.
So you thought there was no way we'd say yes?
Yeah, it was like...
you know what, then ask. That's all.
I hear you. Okay. Well, listen, duly noted. But I think you both could agree my logic was not flawed in thinking it was a complete waste of time.
I believe that you were happy we weren't there. You felt that we would have.
This is what I mean.
We would have harshed your mellow.
I've been rooting for this for years, and it's finally unraveling. I love it.
No, but you're wrong about that. We can have an issue.
No,
but not bring us down.
But I'm not saying it's going to bring you down, but I think it's going to be a divide, which is what I want.
That's, by the way, what great leadership. I mean, you really are. That's the kind of guy you want to say quarterback.
There are people that actually do lead that way.
Yeah, I know. Some of them become
bad leaders.
It's
Governments that are overthrown.
Brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. The Knicks look to keep it rolling tonight against the Trailblazers, Don's favorite team. Coverage starts at 7 right here on 98.7 ESPN. And the Islanders host the Canucks with coverage also starting at 7 on 1050. Please become familiar with 1050.
You better.
Well, I would hope you would.
That's Game Time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. During the big games this season, enjoy a Tullamore Dew, the original triple blended, triple distilled, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Remember, when it's game time, it's Tully time. Please enjoy responsibly. Ray in Baltimore. Ray, talk to us.
How you guys doing?
Good, you?
I got a question about Aaron.
Chris Sheeran back here for the Michael K. Show. NFL wildcard weekend is upon us. The Browns and Texans will kick things off in Houston tomorrow afternoon. Then in prime time, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs host the Dolphins in Kansas City, where the high tomorrow will be, get this, 7 degrees in Kansas City. 7. And by kickoff, it will be -1. And Mahomes will be looking for his 10th home playoff win, which would move him past a couple of Hall of Famers and tie him with another pair for second all-time in that category. Tom Brady is the leader in the clubhouse. He has 21. And Mahomes can also help his teammate Travis Kelce move up on another list, the most consecutive postseason games with a touchdown catch. Right now, he's tied for third with another tight end, Rob Gronkowski. He'll tie another Patriot in David Givens if he scores tomorrow night. And with a score this week, and then the following week if the Chiefs advance, he could tie Hall of Famer John Stallworth of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Things just to finish up the mixer. This is to Boone, LaGreca, and Rosenberg. So a guy works at ESPN, is 24 years old. 24 years old.
Right.
Michael used the word mixer, everyone, by the way, to describe a college party.
Right.
That's
He
what's
said,
happening.
and this young man, I'm on your side with the mixer debate. We called it that sometimes in college. Now, a buddy of mine that I went to school with, who was actually at that dinner on Saturday, he just asked his daughters, who recently graduated from college, and he said they did attend mixers. It's a term used by the schools and by Greek life. So the sororities and the fraternities. Thank you.
Not at Maryland, you know.
Let's go to the phones. Let's go to B in Brooklyn.
Hello?
Hello, B.
How you doing, guys?
Great.
I just want to chime in on the Yankees signing Stroman and a little Kyrie in the Knicks, just to show example of why the Yankees are successful and certain other franchises from New York are not. Yankees are willing to take chances and bring guys in, no matter how they feel personally about them. And even you, Michael K., what he did was reprehensible, and I can relate. There's a lot of people these days that take social media like it's the truth and pass on rumors and innuendos and lies about stuff and never meet people.
Right.
And Peter, you could probably relate with what's the guy? For the Megan Thee Stallion thing. He thought he was innocent because in the eyes of social media, he thought he was innocent.
Tory Lanez, yeah.
In the court-wise, he wasn't. So now we're looking at Stroman. Yankees have always wanted dogs to play, and they're not in a like or not liking contest. They want to win. It's a business. The Jets, Aaron Rodgers, they into who they like and who they don't like, and they don't want certain players. The Mets, all of these teams, it's a business. And even with Michael K's situation, he's willing to look past that. Hopefully Stroman's big enough and mature enough to realize he did something terrible, and you can move past it, and he becomes what the Yankees need, a solid third or fourth starter, and we win. And we get back to deep in the playoffs.
I hear what you're saying,
and with the Kyrie situation,
right?
I haven't been on ESPN Watch. I watched a little in the gym. I heard nothing about him scoring 44 against the Knicks and coming home.
We talked about it.
I feel it's the same thing because guys don't like him. It's business. Real men
Well, but the Nets didn't get rid of him for all that other. He demanded to be traded, and the Knicks wanted him. He didn't want to play for the Knicks. B. It wasn't the Knicks.
Don, I say you're a great announcer, but I think you look past certain things when it comes to ownership of the Knicks, you and Alan Hahn. A lot of players don't want to come here, hockey and basketball, because who the owner is.
No, you're not right. I'm sorry, you're wrong.
You're wrong with hockey.
So why are we not getting free agents like we used to?
Because they've stunk for so long. Nobody wants to join a bad team.
And Panarin could have signed with the Panthers. He could have signed with the Islanders for more money and chose to go to the Rangers. Rangers have no problem signing guys. It is not a hockey problem. If you want to say it's a basketball problem, maybe. But all I know is there's a ton of former players who have nothing but nice things to say about how they were treated when Dolan was the owner. They didn't want to come to New York because of the pressure and the fact they haven't won in 50 years. But to his point, see, I think he's got it a little backwards. It's not that these teams have the guts to sign the miscreants or the bad guys or the character issue guys. It's that they're so well run is that their character issues don't become a problem for them, and the teams that are not run well can't handle it, and the guys run wild. So I think that's why the Yankees feel like we can handle Stroman, because we will be able to control the situation. We won't let it get out of hand, where other teams, they don't value it the same way or don't have the sources in place to stop it from taking place. So I don't think it's the guts to sign those types of guys. It's having the infrastructure to not allow those guys to be a problem.
And also one thing, Marcus Stroman doesn't commit crimes. I don't want anybody to think that.
Neither did Kyrie.
Neither did Kyrie. Marcus Stroman, it's the outside noise. You know, everybody talks about it's got to be all about winning. Well, Marcus Stroman brings outside noise sometimes into the room, but he doesn't do anything wrong. And as for me, I am not part of this story, man. I'm just this is a show where I have a 3.5 hour outlet to tell you what's going on. The Yankees couldn't care less how Marcus Stroman threw this awful accusation at me that's forever on Twitter. They don't care, and they shouldn't. How our relationship's going to be has nothing to do with this. When he pitches, I'll announce how he pitches. If he pitches great, I'll say pitch great. If he doesn't pitch well, I'll say didn't pitch well. This will be nothing about the fact that he had the audacity to even intimate that I was a racist. But that doesn't mean I have to like him.
Hey, it's in the past. It happened. He was not of the Yankees' control when it did happen, Michael, but I think they would get involved if he were to do it now as a Yankee.
I think if they were smart, they'd sit us down.
Right.
So that is not I'm going to be on planes with him. I'm going to be in rooms with him, and I'm going to have a warm, fuzzy feeling about a guy who called me a racist, never met me, never spoke to me, didn't know where I grew up, and had the audacity to seek out something on Twitter or on social media where some lunatic fan said that I'm a racist because I've never had a black co-host.
Well,
that doesn't sit well with me. I'm sorry. And it's also a little bit of what Marcus is about. Marcus is a guy who goes crazy on social media if he feels like he's been slighted.
The ignorance of thinking that, like, you have the power, like, to hire people. Like, you're the one that does the hiring for your co-hosts. That was the most ridiculous thing about it. It's like my mom. My mom thinks that I have to go to you to get vacation.
She's wrong. Empire Outlets is the place to be this winter to shop, dine, and experience. Located
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
I won the lottery with Jack Pocket.
Press the button to order lottery tickets. It's that easy.
You know, that really happened. I was in the bathtub and I was like, oh my God, I got to put my numbers in. And I grabbed my phone and
my phone started exploding with texts and emails from Jack Pocket telling me I won big. I still can't believe I'm a lottery winner.
How did I celebrate? I kind of did a little happy dance out to the living room.
Go to jackpocket.com to get the app and get your first ticket free.
there's an easier way. From little fixes to big projects, taking care of your home is easy with Thumbtack. Download the Thumbtack app and start caring for your home today.
My favorite babysitter is Annalisa. She's pretty good. She's like my grandma. She says, "Hola, ¿cómo estás?" She plays with me. She helps you feel better. Bugs and insects are healthy for you. Amelia took us to the beach. She teaches me some gymnastics. We color. We draw flowers, and then we go skateboarding.
From babysitters to nannies to daycare centers, find all the care you need at care.com.
We just signed the lease on our third shop. I guess we're a chain now, right? We worked so hard to get here. My assistant went to customink.com to get our new uniforms and merch with all the location names. Our custom gear helps him get our brand out into the community. He takes care of all of our custom ink orders. He was able to find great products, upload the new art, and have boxes sent directly to each of the shops. Custom Ink makes it so easy. Get started today at customink.com.
Win big while streaming the Nets with Pick and Play on the Yes app. Make your picks before tip-off and win up to $10,000. What a move! Yes Pick and Play. It's the game within the game, only on the Yes app.
And our mini grant program that supports our youth education, leadership skills, health, and well-being. We began in my hometown of Linden, California, expanded to my college town of Fresno, California, and as of last year, I was fortunate to share All Rise with my home for the next 8 years in New York City. Join me and my foundation as we all rise to support youth in our community at our next All-Star Evening on January 25th, 2024.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
We all smoked in those days. If that was you then, get your lungs screened now.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We'll make our picks this hour. Also, we're going to give away another box in the Super Box Bonanza 5. And we got a big NFL weekend. Browns and the Texans, Dolphins and the Chiefs, Steelers and the Bills, Packers and the Cowboys, Rams and the Lions, and then the Eagles and the Buccaneers. In terms of games that I'm really looking forward to, I love watching games in the snow, although the Jets-Patriots game was just awful. That's because it was two bad teams. So the Dolphins and the Chiefs, fascinating to me, and the Steelers and the Bills. That's fascinating as well. I don't think weather is going to play a factor in both of those games. Who's it going to affect more? I'm not quite sure. But if you can take away the passing aspect of Josh Allen, doesn't that hurt the Bills? If you can take away the passing aspect of Patrick Mahomes and Tua, it's going to hurt both of the teams. So weather's going to play a role. It is a big deal.
See, I think it's less, even though it's going to be worse in Buffalo as far as the 50 mile per hour gusts are really going to affect the passing game. Both of those teams are cold weather teams that know how to play in that atmosphere. Josh Allen's played in bad weather before. Mahomes has played in bad weather before. I'm interested to see how it's going to affect Tua and the Dolphins. The Dolphins' offense is predicated on speed. And I get what Fortenbaugh's saying about it always benefits the offense because they know where they're going to cut and the defense doesn't. But you're not going to be able to utilize that speed in the snow, guys. And the cold. And it's going to be different. Now Kansas City's less about precipitation, so it's just about the cold. Can they still, is that field not going to be a little slippery, a little, I don't know. It's maybe, is there a temperature that can slow the Dolphins down, or will they have the field, and because it's not going to be snowing, will that be able to keep Miami and have their speed?
Well, when it comes to snow, though, I think the offense is affected less than the defense because the offense knows where it's running. The defense has to obviously pivot and go and follow the offense. So I just don't know if you could throw. Forget about the cold weather and the snow, but with the wind in both of these places, how are they going to throw? You can't throw in that kind of weather.
The thing is, the wind only can blow in one direction. So I would think that...
Well, it could be swirling.
Well, it could be, but it also could be just blowing in one direction, which means that if you're into the wind, it's going to be hard. But if you're against the wind, maybe you'll be able to throw it downfield. But it's going to definitely, no matter whether it's at your back or in your face, it's going to affect your accuracy. So, but I don't think they'll abandon it. They're going to throw.
Is asking its fans to come down to Highmark Stadium and shovel. That's how bad the snow is right now.
No way.
Yeah. Huh? They're asking their fans to come help them shovel. They sent out something on X.
What?
On what?
On X.
What's that?
Don't be an ass your whole life.
By the way, Don, is there not a portion of the audience I'm helping by asking that question?
Well, definitely a portion, more so than if you just said Twitter or on social media. But they've got they don't have people. The state of New York, the city of Buffalo can't get enough people to. They got to have fans do it. They're going to give me a ticket to the game?
You know who should go help, Michael?
Who's that?
The people who call our show and say, why don't you talk more about Buffalo? It's a New York team. They should go up and shovel.
But serious, Peter, let's say...
Yeah, but when you consider how big that field is and where are you dumping the snow, Don, you can't dump it into the stands. People are going to be sitting there.
I don't even understand how you do it.
And they're offering $20 an hour to all of their fans to help shovel.
Well, there you go. That's something.
It's actually not bad. Hey, wait, hold on. Michael, I know who should go.
Who's that?
Don.
He loves to shovel.
You know what? I'd do it for free. That's how much. I'd love it.
I know you guys will never find the drop, but if you can find Don's dead, his heart just exploded. That's a classic Michael K. drop about shoveling snow. I hear what you're saying, Michael, about the advantage going to offense, but if the weather is bad enough, it's just so hard for me to pick a team to cover big points. And you will occasionally... What was the game last year, guys? Was it a playoff game last year that we thought would go under because of the snow? And it was like a 60-point game. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It just happened. It just happened, and we were super tempted to think of it as low scoring. So you don't know, but I don't know, guys. This Buffalo team, who can be so odd and inconsistent, I just don't know that I trust them enough to cover a big number in bad weather, even with as bad as Pittsburgh is. I just feel like bad weather always helps the worst team. I think it's
here's my worry, Peter. I wonder if you... I generally feel the way you feel. But do we have recency bias because of the absolute clown show that we saw with the Jets and the Patriots? Two awful teams?
Well, I'm not thinking of it that way. Right. Because that game would have been bad no matter what. I agree with you. I just generally feel like anytime I'm rooting for my team, who generally stinks, and I find out the weather's going to be bad against a good team, I kind of feel like, well, you know what? A lot goes out the window, Don. You never know what's going to happen.
True, but I think sometimes you can overthink it. All right, if this game was just being played in 30 degrees, a normal January day, you would be upset that Watt's not playing. If you're Pittsburgh, they've decided Rudolph's going to play, and not that it's that big of a difference, but there's a definite discrepancy at quarterback. Steelers, if you think about when they went to New England a few weeks ago, couldn't get anything going. I think the Bills have kind of found themselves here. Now, the X factor is always Josh Allen and the turnovers, but there could be turnovers in this game too, just because of the weather. So that could lend to a higher scoring game. If kickoffs and punts are muffed and there's interceptions and fumbles and changes field position. But I think sometimes you get too caught up in the weather and just look at, all right, where are these teams right now? And the Steelers are not a great offensive team. They lost their best defensive player. And Buffalo, I think, is kind of poised for a bit of a run here. And I'm getting it under 10. I think about that more than I worry about the weather.
Peter, were you thinking about Cincinnati at Buffalo last year and Cincy won 27-10? Is that the one you're thinking of?
Yes. I think that's it. I think Cincy covered so easily. Remember?
Well, I think they were underdogs. It was in Buffalo.
Yeah, they were they were dogs.
And won by 17.
3-point dogs, maybe, and just rolled.
Let's go to Danny in Long Island. Danny.
Good afternoon, guys. I like to win point guard by referring to the limo driver who, when he said he was worried about Michael, Peter was worried about Michael, but went right over Don because he knows Don was rearranging the furniture. at the first sign that he thought there was any kind of trouble.
That's right.
He did not mention Don.
Well, he knows Don. He's probably a friend.
I know everybody wants me rooting for Michael to go. Like I'd have the show all to myself. I'd bring in some former football player that wouldn't know half of what Michael does, and then I'd want to bang my head against the television screen.
Guys, we're not talking about wind. The wind is bad. The cold is okay. We're talking about lake effect snow. It comes in sideways at 30 miles an hour. We're talking about whiteout conditions. You can't throw the ball because you can't see the ball. I'm thinking of the poor cameraman who last week was standing out in Baltimore getting soaked, found out at Tuesday you're heading to Buffalo. This poor guy's got to stand out there in this nonsense. Now, this is not a normal game. I don't know how anyone could possibly bet the game under these conditions because these odds are made for, optimum conditions. I mean, you can't play football in this weather. Football was a fall sport. The Browns won the AFC Championship or the NFL Championship in October or November. They played 12 games. It was never meant to be played in the middle of Buffalo in the dead of winter. This is really ungodly, but they're going to play the game. But you can't come to any kind of conclusion. Maybe the under bet and just hope that both these teams are. I mean, think about it. If you start the ball in your own end zone or your own 10-yard line and you can only punt the ball 5 yards and the other team can't kick a field goal, you could be pinned in your end of the field for the entire half if no one can move the ball.
Well, do we know that that's going to happen? That it's going to be that bad?
My son came home from his first winter at Rochester and said to me, Dad, it is so annoying. It comes in sideways. It only goes for the first 10 miles off the lake, and then it disappears. But it comes in sideways at 30 miles an hour.
No, I agree with you. And I'm just wondering, do we know that those will be the conditions at kickoff?
Yes, those are the conditions I'm reading. I'm right now reading from Buffalo Weather. It's whiteout conditions. They were thinking about free closing the roads. It's going to be. This game has clearly passed Kansas City in terms of bad weather because Kansas City is just cold. But you can function in cold. You can throw. You can run. You can tackle. You got good footing.
Right.
This is going to be insane.
This is the best thing to happen to the Steelers, though, Danny. This is the only chance they have to win.
If I may quote Spock in The Wrath of Khan, "Sauce for the goose." When you are lesser talented, any kind of a problem with footing, I always believe, favors the lesser quality team. I'm with Peter on that. So, listen, their problem is they have a running quarterback. He's going to carry the ball 30 times. He's going to be doing QB sneaks. The Steelers don't have that. We have an actual better running game in a traditional sense. But Josh Allen's going to carry the ball 25 times tomorrow if they can't pass the ball. And you're going to look at it. It's going to be like a 1930 triple wing Army-Navy football game, and the final score might be 12-9. No, it won't be any nines because I can make field goals. But if some team wants to fumble the ball 7 times, and someone think about the Steelers played the AFC Championship against the Raiders one time. The final score was 7-6. In 19, I think it was 75 because the field was covered with ice. No one could do anything. So we'll see what happens. Michael, I'm glad you survived the accident. And
Thank you.
Don, sorry you didn't get the promotion, but that's just the way it works out.
Enjoy the game. Let's go to Mike in Oxford. Mike.
Hey, guys. First time, long time.
Welcome aboard.
I love when Don and Peter gang up on you, Michael, just because I'm a Manhattan College grad, and it's fun to be a Fordham grad and get beaten down once in a while.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm 9 years younger than you, and I can assure you that Manhattan College had mixers in my day.
Wow.
So
in your day,
definitely not far off. I'd be surprised if Fordham and Manhattan still didn't have mixers. The other point I wanted to make is the Buffalo Bills-Pittsburgh Steelers game is going to be really just a cool point to be made is both coaches played football at William & Mary together for 2 years. And they're going up against each other, and I think they have just great respect for each other, and I think that's a great aspect to the game.
Well, it should be. So I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Go Jaspers! We thank you for the phone call. Did you know that Father Jasper is the one who came up with the 7th inning stretch? They were playing a baseball game at Manhattan. They felt that the students were getting restless, so he stood up in the middle of the 7th inning and had everybody stand up and stretch. So Father Jasper of the Manhattan Jaspers started the 7th inning stretch.
Interesting.
Now, looking at the hourly for Buffalo, and again, it's still a long ways away. All right.
I just looked on. It's unreal.
No, but it's still 1 o'clock at kickoff, 42% chance of snow, and then 2 o'clock, 32% chance, and then at 3 o'clock, it's 24.
Yeah, but
so the real.
Did you look at night? Did you look at tomorrow night?
No, it's going to snow. But I'm saying
Saturday night, 87% chance, 1 to 3 inches snow. No, chance of snow 90% at night.
On Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Right, but the game's being played at 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. So
that's a good point by you.
The point is that I have no question there's going to be snow, and that's why they wanted to shovel. But at kickoff, what Danny's saying, it's going to be a whiteout and blinding. I don't know if it's going to be that. It's going to be cold, it's going to be windy, and there may be a little snow, but I think the majority of the snow will have already fallen by kickoff.
Would you say, Don, if we can really tie it all together, that anybody who goes to that game has hubris and arrogance about driving to go to that game?
That's a good point. It's a great point.
No, but if they say, well, I heard it was going to rain.
Yeah, but there's no rain there. It's all snow in the forecast.
But the point is that they can't act surprised like I didn't know it was going to snow. You said you thought it was just going to rain. They know what they're getting into.
Let's go to Noel in Dunkirk. Hello, Noel.
Noel?
It's a good movie, right?
Hey, I just come by the stadium up there where the Bills play at New Era. You can mow the lawn up here. It's not snowing. It's 45 degrees here right now. It's going to snow, but it is not going to be. It is not snowing now, and there is no sort of state of emergency up here right now.
Well, thank you, Noel, but we see pictures of Highmark Stadium, and the whole field is full of snow, and they're offering people $20 an hour to shovel.
It'd be a fabulous point if we were 5 minutes from kickoff. The game is Sunday, so thank you for the call.
Let's check in with our Buffalo correspondent, Judy from Buffalo.
There you go. What's up, Judy?
Hi.
Hello.
I'm on a theory on snow. First of all, it's going to snow. It's going to affect the games. Whoever makes the least amount of fumbles or interceptions, which is sad. But I want somebody to explain to me why they're building a brand new stadium right next to it with no retractable dome.
I'm sure it's money, Judy.
Hi.
All right,
no, Judy, he's saying it's money.
Judy, thank you. I mean, she's got the radio on. Thank you, Judy, for calling. But obviously, it's money. That's what happened in Minnesota as well. It makes no sense. You just
these teams, Michael, they just don't have enough money.
Well, it's not money. I mean, first of all, it's probably another $500 million.
But yet they were able to dome where the Vikings play.
Well, they had more money.
But it just seems silly that a game that is less affected by weather, in football, they've got the dome, and where baseball games get canceled, they have no dome. I get the money aspect of it, but I don't know if it's money or whether they part of being the Buffalo Bill is we want to be able to be a Northeast team.
Well, the Vikings always thought that. Bud Grant thought it was at Metropolitan Stadium, it was a great advantage. But then there's also the health of its fans. I mean, people could die of hypothermia.
Well, and also, shouldn't the league have a vested interest in helping in this? And can't they afford it? They're robbing they're robbing all of us of $100 million this weekend. They could throw in a few bucks.
And then with the Twins, when you go to Minneapolis and you talk about that, they say, well, it's also the land. There's not enough land to build a retractable roof. Then build it somewhere else. I can't wait for the Twins to make a World Series. I can't wait.
But
not enough.
But I also love that philosophy. Well, we're a Northeast team. Well, you're not built that way. You got Josh Allen. You're throwing the ball all over the place. It's where the league is now. So I don't know why you wouldn't try to accentuate what everybody wants to do by making it, warm, a nice environment to score points.
So it doesn't look like it's snowing yet in Buffalo. I think the picture they're showing there is old, but it will be. And yeah, what I'm seeing here, Don, still, to your point is, who knows exactly, but 80% chance of snow, 3 inches during the mid-morning tomorrow. It's going to be some version of bad. And the wind gusts, honestly, are probably the most important, right? 40-mile-an-hour wind gust. That's right. I don't know if that's possible to completely
I was just saying that
40-mile-an-hour wind gust.
What Danny was saying is if it's happening in the middle of lake effect snow, they probably don't play the game. If it's that bad,
right?
Where it's like a foot every couple of hours, they wouldn't play the game. There was actually rumblings if that were the case, they might try to move the game. But so it's not going to be those types of conditions, but the conditions certainly will have an effect.
Anthony Greek tells me the Bills are going to have a canopy to cover the fans at the new ballpark, but they want the elements for an advantage.
Advantage? It makes no sense.
Let's go to Raul in Harrisburg. He's been on hold for a while. Hello, Raul.
Hey, how you doing, Mike? Are you good?
Yeah, how you doing?
You hear me now?
Guys, hey, Mike, Michael, I got 2 quick points related to Marcus Stroman. What kind of impact do you think this guy's going to make besides the drama this guy brings? And then I want to ask you about the arbitration about Soto. Nobody's talking about that. What does this do for the Yankees for the future? Like, what is this move about? You know what I mean? I don't understand too much about arbitration.
Well, I mean, they knew that they knew that this was going to be the arbitration number. They actually thought it was going to be 32. So rather than go to arbitration, they settled at 31. I mean, they knew what they were getting. They're getting one of the greatest players in baseball. So, of course, that's what the number's going to be. This doesn't impact it at all. Signing him long term, you know, it's going to be close to $40 million, maybe even more than that. And as for Stroman, you take away all the other stuff, $18.5 million a year for this guy with a 3.65 lifetime ERA, it's not a bad signing when you consider what people are making. Frankie Montas has pitched an inning and a half in the last year, and he got $16 million. Luis Severino is always hurt, and he got $13 million. So the numbers are not bad. We're talking about the other stuff. But in terms of the player that he is, it's not a bad signing that sense. It's hard to separate it. You know, you get one with the other. It's not like Sizzler. I mean, you don't get to pick and choose on the buffet. You get the whole buffet. And part of the whole buffet is with him is a heightened sensitivity, and he's on social media fighting with fans and with media.
Now, Michael, it's very fluid, too. Right now, you can pencil him in as the second starter based on where they are right now. But if Rodon is healthy, if Cortez comes back and is healthy, if Stroman's not as good as advertised, then he's the third starter or fourth starter or fifth starter. I mean, so right now he's penciled in as the number 2. But if he's a problem, if he's not pitching well, the other things can break their way too. I just think for the money and the stats, this is not a bad signing. And I think we exaggerate the off-the-field stuff. He's already off Twitter. He wanted to be a Yankee. Yankees know how to control their players better than anybody. I think that we're making way more out of it than we have to.
Greg and Syosset. Greg.
Yes, how are you today?
Good. How are you, Greg?
I'm doing good. I was just running in the car and I heard you speak about the weather and the Bill Stadium and why they couldn't afford it. I hate to be a little political now, but I don't know if you realize that's the only stadium being built by the state and not the owners.
Yeah, I know. Kathy Hochul, right, pushed that through, the governor.
And to get more political, her husband's involved with the refreshment. So maybe that's why they can't afford it. Maybe if they use some of their own money, they might be able to afford it.
Well, let's put it this way, Greg. The fact that the state is paying for it, we thank you for the phone call. Obviously, there was an X amount of money that they were willing to spend, and they didn't want to spend enough to put a retractable dome.
And you can't get mad at that, Michael. I mean, as rich as the owners are, it's still a facility that's only used like 20 times a year. No offense to Buffalo. I don't know how often the Rolling Stones are coming in to play the stadium. It's one thing when you put a stadium up in Los Angeles or New York. There could be a bunch of different things you use for it. It's a lot of money for a building that's not really used that much.
And also, Don, you're also eliminating the Rolling Stones coming there in February because you're not putting a dome on. So your impact. Maybe they'll have the hockey games there.
No, but what I'm saying is, if you dome it because you want to try to attract other events, I don't know how many more events you're going to really attract. Now, I think you can have a retractable dome if you wanted to have the Winter Classic there, but who else plays there? What college team plays there that's going to have 80,000 people in the building in Western New York?
Well,
what concerts are there,
okay, so if you're saying that, then it also impacts on why didn't New York State pay for it? Why didn't the Pagulas pay for it? It's not going to do anything for the infrastructure of New York State up in Buffalo, other than keep the Buffalo Bills from moving to Toronto.
Well, what I'm saying is that the owner would be like, if the team's not moving, am I going to pay all this extra money? How do I make it back?
Well, the owners were going to move if they didn't get the thing paid for.
Right.
That's what they held over the head.
But if I'm the Pagulas and I say, all right, I'm going to spend an extra $1 billion to put a roof on it, why? How is that going to make me more money?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but it is going to hurt the product. It's going to hurt the product on the field. But as you said, well, how many games do they play? There are 11.
Yeah, that was always the thing about building a stadium for the Jets. It's like it's great, but when you build an arena, if you really work hard enough, when you remember Dave Checkett's with Madison Square Garden, I can have something there every single night. But when you build an 80,000 football-only stadium and then no baseball team can play there, no other team can play there but football, how many events can you get in there to make it worth it?
Let's take a brief timeout. It says that I have... No, but I don't. That was not...
It's me.
Oh.
It's me.
No, there it is. It's me. No, I got it. It's me.
No, it is
It
you.
is me. It is me.
It's not you, it's me.
It's me.
I think it's me.
It wasn't me.
This new year, it's time to finally lose the weight to save an
My favorite babysitter is Annalisa. She's pretty good. She's like my grandma. She says, "Hola, ¿cómo estás?" She plays with me. She helps you feel better. Bugs and insects are healthy for you. Amelia took us to the beach. She teaches me some gymnastics. We color. We draw flowers, and then we go skateboarding.
From babysitters to nannies to daycare centers, find all the care you need at care.com.
Get tools that bring every angle of your beauty business together. Clients can book online 24/7 for multiple services and multiple staff, so scheduling is simple. And with client notes and stored payments, you can offer seamless checkouts, so clients keep coming back. Run your beauty business with tools that bring everything together. Get started at square.com today.
The next Powerball drawing is presented by Jackpocket. Jackpocket lets you order official state lottery tickets right on your phone. Just pick your numbers and place your ticket order. See a scan of your ticket right in the app. And get your winnings instantly. Go to jackpocket.com to get the app and get your first ticket free. Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app.
Can a handyman fix my leaky faucet?
How much does it cost to have my HVAC checked?
How do I know I have mold?
What do water pipes break?
Home questions don't have to keep you up at night. Get peace of mind with Thumbtack. We'll connect you with local pros for any home project, from a small fix to a big remodel. See transparent prices, read verified reviews, and book with just a tap. Thumbtack, the easy way to care for your home.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
Boost your streaming experience with live stats on the Yes app. Real-time features like player stats, game leaders, and play-by-play are available now on phones, tablets, and now on connected TVs. Live stats while you stream, now on the Yes app.
I can scratch for 20 times the winnings, 50 times. I designed this little hand special.
Couldn't you just scratch them one at a time?
Don't make the tiny hand angry.
More winnings could be in your hands with the Extreme Multiplier Series from the New York Lottery.
When I hit 80, I needed help around the home. A friend of mine told me to call Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nanny gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay and how fast you can get started.
Imagine a world where no child goes to bed hungry.
We do, every day. It's a beautiful place.
But right now, families are struggling and too many children don't have enough to eat.
So we're called to help them, to bring them food, resources, and hope.
To support families today so they can build a better tomorrow for their children.
To do this, we connect people like you, who can do so much for the most vulnerable children across this country and around the world.
If we work together and seize this moment, we won't have to just imagine that beautiful place.
We can create a world where no child goes to bed hungry.
Thank you.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires. We all smoked in those days. If that was you then, get your lungs screened now.
It's easy to stay safe online. Learn more at CISA.gov/secure our world.
And since it's a big football Friday, let's give away a Super Box. It's the ESPN New York Super Box Bonanza 5 this year. Each qualifier will take home a $25 Fanatics gift card and have a chance at one of 10 Super Boxes with prizes including big screen TV, Nintendo Switch, MetaQuest, and much more. Be caller number 81 right now at 888-987-ESPN to select a box for the big game with a chance to win $500 in the first and third quarters, $1,000 at halftime, and a final score payout of $2,000, all brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. 1-800-919-3776, 6 wild card games. A lot of people still upset. There's actually, I believe, a congressman that is trying to get the game off of Peacock.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck with that. I mean, you're trying to stop capitalism. It's a private business. So under what circumstance would you be able to do that?
And
of all the things that need solving in this country, that's what your congressman's fighting for?
Yeah. I don't know. I think we can all the $5 that it requires people to pay if they feel like spending the money.
The congressman is Patrick Ryan, I think.
And where's it?
And it's free for the local markets.
Where is he from, Thomas?
I got to find that out. I just saw his name.
Okay.
It just says United States Congressman on the article.
Because you would think, all right, it's got to be somebody from, Missouri or Florida because their local fans are getting job, but they're not because the rule's still in effect. It's still available over the air in those two markets. So he's worried about people outside of his constituency?
What a guy. Let's go to Tyrone in Perth Amboy. Tyrone.
Gentlemen, great show. Michael, I hate to say it, but I think your reference to the seventh inning stretch might be incorrect. President Taft in 1910 at a game in Pittsburgh stood up to leave, and the fans in the stands stood up to give him some respect, and it was the middle of the seventh inning, and I believe that is the origin of the seventh inning stretch.
It's actually two different stories, Tyrone. I know of yours, and it says that Taft did it because he got up to stretch his legs, and everybody else stood up. But most people attribute it to that was in the 20th century, but in the 19th century, in 1880, Brother Jasper of the Manhattan College Jaspers. They weren't the Jaspers then, but he was Brother Jasper. He said the students were becoming restless during the seventh inning of a close game. He told them to stand up and stretch. So if you choose to think it's Taft, good for you, Tyrone. I choose to think it's Brother Jasper. How about that? Wow. Let's go. What?
No, I'm just saying the Taft thing probably has more legs, but I want to get to the bottom of this.
Wasn't he particularly heavy president?
Yes, he was. He was known to be
he was a stout man.
A bit obese.
You can't be a bit obese. You're obese or you're not.
Well, I don't think, because I think I disagree, because you have morbidly obese, so there are grades to obesity. So right, Peter, if there's morbidly obese, I guess there could be a bit obese.
Yeah. I want to end this conversation because I can already hear Michael's brain thinking of a Carlin joke, and I won't stand for
listen,
it.
I love Chris Carlin.
I know you do, but you still find a way, don't you?
He finds a way.
Yeah, but that's different when he does it.
So do our good friend JJ in North Carolina. Let's see how he wants to program the show today. Hello, JJ.
Can you pause this?
Here we go. JJ.
Hello?
Hello.
Pause what, JJ? What do you want them to pause?
We're watching Taxi Driver.
Nice. I would pause that too. You look.
Yeah.
Talking to
All
me?
right, you're on.
What was that, Don?
I got you.
Yeah.
Anyways, before I get to the Marcus Stroman thing, because he's really, I got something to say about that. I wanted to ask Peter a quick wrestling question. Do you think, Peter, that after it's all said and done and Cody Rhodes is retired, do you think him or his dad will have a bigger impact on the whole business itself? Being that Cody has transformed a new company and Dusty did what he did, everyone loved him. Kind of like an interesting dynamic.
By the way, I love this question. I'm a little sad, JJ, that it tells me you haven't listened to my podcast, Cheap Heat, ever in life, because the last 2 weeks, I actually brought this exact thing up. And I would suggest that while Dusty is the bigger influence, and he's a brilliant mind that everyone respects, and he invented so many things, I think Cody is currently more mainstream, famous, and popular than his dad ever was.
Interesting.
What was your Strowman point?
About Strowman, I just think this can only end one possible way. I mean, Peter was kind of alluding to it before, or asking the question that, like, why, is this going to go into a possible, why would he be, change who he is? Like, is he really going to change who he is just because he's on the Yankees? He's kind of like the Kyrie Irving of baseball, I would say. He's just not, that's just who he is. He's not going to change.
Well, also like the Aaron Rodgers of baseball.
Yeah, exactly. And it happened with Donaldson last year. He's not as extreme as the social media, but the kind of the same premise. He's just, I would understand if he was going to be like the fourth or fifth starter, but to be the number 2 or number 3 to really rely on this guy, it's going to be hard because, I mean, you don't know what Nestor might go back on the injured list. He might have to have surgery for that shoulder. And then you got Rodon's a big question mark. Strowman's going to have to be one of the best pitchers. And it's just, to combine that with all the off-the-field stuff, I don't know.
Yeah, but one thing, JJ, I mean, I don't want, all right, thank you for the phone call. I don't want to be, the guy who defends Marcus Stroman. There aren't that many question marks of him as a pitcher. And when you say off-the-field stuff, he's not roaming the streets at night. The guy defends himself on social media to his detriment. I mean, somebody goes at him, he takes that to a nuclear level. But now he didn't pitch well in the second half of the season. He was an all-star in the first half. So as a baseball signing, and if you take away all the other stuff, it's not a bad signing at $18.5 million a year.
That's why I really believe that we are taking all the social media stuff and we're blowing it out of proportion. He was a guy that was upset something Brian Cashman said, went after Brian Cashman. Yankee fans went after him, all right? He had a few moments with the media in New York. Apparently none of the media guys really liked him. He's a different sort, but he's not Aaron Rodgers and Kyrie where he thinks he's smarter than everybody else. He's a little sensitive.
No, he thinks he's smarter than everybody else, too.
But I don't think
he's got that Duke vibe.
But fine, but it doesn't come from a place of, let me just show you how smart I am, and let me show you conspiracy theories and sitting out for different political views. That's not him. He goes there and pitch. That's the one thing he does. He takes the ball. You know, one year he led the league in appearances. So unless he got hurt, and that's something that's happened recently, and if you want to be concerned about that, fine. But he has taken to social media, but he's scrubbed a lot of that. He wanted to be a Yankee. Apparently he's not on social media right now, so he's doing all the right things, and I think the Yankees will put a stop to it the second they think it becomes any kind of a problem.
But you keep saying that. They couldn't stop Clint Frazier, Don. Sometimes you can't stop somebody. You just can't.
But did the situation with Clint Frazier bring the Yankees down? No, they handled it by getting rid of the guy.
But he was around for a while.
All right, because they tried to make it work because he was a prospect that they traded for. All right, this is a guy that they got on the cheap. It's a 2-year deal, and if it becomes any kind of a problem, they'll figure out a way to get around it. I mean, they make it seem like he's going to cripple this franchise. I mean, he didn't cripple the Mets. He didn't really cripple the Cubs. He crippled the Cubs because he wasn't available to pitch because he was hurt. But we're making this. First of all, we're making the social media stuff out to be that he's a bad guy, which is not true. It is a bit of a distraction, but have we seen examples where it's brought franchises down? It's going to cripple the Yankees.
No, but cripple the Yankees it's not going to do. But, I mean, we talked about Rogers, right, that it does permeate the walls. Robert Saleh said no. Baseball writers and media are in that room way more than football writers, way more. So it could be, if Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton and Anthony Rizzo have to answer questions about something, a fight that Marcus Stroman, you don't know how it impacts the team.
And I do think the Yankees would shut it down if it became any kind of a problem. Now, maybe the media won't like him. Maybe he won't speak before start. Won't speak the day before starts. Won't speak the day of starts. They've handled that before.
Roger Clemens didn't speak 2 days before starts.
Right, and that was Roger Clemens, who's way more important to the Yankees than Stroman's going to be to this Yankee team.
But the problem is that Stroman's pretty important to this Yankee team, and that's why they signed him.
I get that, but he's not that kind of level of superstar that's going to garner that much of attention. And I think the Yankees will be able to handle anything that goes off the rails.
Jake in Philly. Jake.
Hey, guys. First time, long time. I'm calling about Marcus Stroman. I think you guys are frankly wrong about it. Michael, I know you're a little offended about his comments about you. I get that.
No, I'm not a little offended. I'm mortified to be called that. Mortified. It's not a little offended. When somebody calls you a racist.
I appreciate that. At the end of the day, I think other players have done worse. I think, Aroldis Chapman did some pretty horrible things. I think name-calling does not quite get on that level. I think at the end of the day, Marcus Stroman at worst is a solid 5 or 4 starter. And for $37 million over 2 years, I think there are far worse things to do with that money.
I think we agree with you, though. I mean, essentially, Jake, you're right. I mean, Don definitely agrees with you. We agree. Yeah. In a baseball sense, getting a pitcher with a 3.65 lifetime ERA at the age of 32 for $18.5 million a year is a relative bargain. So you're right. You're right. Now we'll see how the other stuff plays out.
No, I gotcha. And I guess my perspective is only a baseball perspective. I'm not in the media. I just think this is a good move for the Yankees. I think signing Blake Snell would have been an absolute nightmare. I think he's been good for 2 years in the league. He doesn't exactly scream consistency to me. Mm-hmm. I think it's just,
Jake, they offered him 5 years, $150 million, so they kind of like Blake Snell.
Yeah, and I'm grateful that he turned that down. I think that would have been a travesty. I think that would have set us back. I think that would have been Rodon all over again.
Good stuff, Jake. Thank you for calling in. Let's go to Jim in New Hyde Park. Jim?
Hey, good evening, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it.
Michael and Don, specifically, I'm asking you guys because I know you talk about being big readers. I wonder if either of you had a chance to read Mike Lupica's recent book that he put out with James Patterson called 12 Months to Live.
Now, I love Mike Lupica. I don't love novels, so I have not read it.
I heard it's very good, but I'm with Michael. I don't read those stories.
But please go on.
So I finished it a month ago, but about 60 pages into the book, I'm reading it. The main protagonist turns around to someone, and I don't know exactly what context, and says, "Sorry doesn't fix the lamp." And I said, "Holy mackerel! What are you getting plagiarized on your quote there?" And then at least there was one other "see ya" also in the book also.
Interesting.
That he got from you,
I wonder
Michael.
if you had to get permission for that, huh?
No, you know what? I've never, ever copyrighted anything, so it's on me.
Well, and your dad didn't invent "Sorry Doesn't Fix the Lamp," does he?
I guess not. I mean, that's the only one I ever heard say it.
Yeah, but, Mike Lupica wasn't running around with Michael's dad, or even as the same age, so he got it from Michael. Now, whether it's theft or not, I don't know if there's any copyright infringement, but he definitely got it from Michael.
Andrew
How
in
can you
Medford.
say that?
Yeah, hey, Don, Mike, Peter, how you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks. When it comes down to the Yankees, it's interesting because the Yankees definitely gave a good contract offer to Snell.
Right.
But do they land another ace? Because they said they were all in on this year. They definitely need another ace. I think Josh Hader as a closer would be a good move to sign. But what do they do? The options left, or do they trade with Marlins or the Sox? Like, what does it come down to the Yankees if they want to pick up one more person, or they wait another year? Like, what are they going to do?
You can't wait another year, Andrew, because Soto won't be here. There's a chance he might not be here after this year, so you're going for it this year. Will they pursue other starters? Yes, I think this gives them some breathing room. So if they don't get another starter, we told you who the 5 are going to be. It'll be Cole, Stroman, Rodon, Nestor, and Clark Schmidt. Then you have a guy like Chase Hampton and Clayton Beater. See how they do in spring training. That'll be their depth pieces. And you see how it goes. If the offense can carry you through a regular season, you're going to need pitching in the postseason. Maybe they make a trade at the trade deadline. As for Hader, he said that he wants as big a contract as Edwin Diaz. So that's 5 years, $100 million. And I don't know, they have a pretty good closer in Clay Holmes.
I would love if they could get Hader and Stroman, because then they could have past problems on Twitter and future problems on Twitter. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see. I thought you were going to play off the Hader stuff, but you're going to play off the stuff he did in the past. Now,
Michael, I got to tell you, I'm looking on Twitter. Yeah. I don't really see Sorry Doesn't Fix the Lamp as a thing. I'm sorry, not looking on Twitter. I looked on Google. Right. I'm not really seeing Sorry Doesn't Fix the Lamp as a thing anywhere else.
Oh, Mike took it from Michael. The question is it theft?
or was it homage, is what you're saying?
Right.
Well, it's not homage unless you say this is from Michael.
But you can't do that in a novel.
It's a novel.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, if you read some novels, that you definitely use names of real people.
Well, yes, but what I'm saying is the character wasn't Michael K. It happens to be another character.
Yeah, but the character you say, as Michael K. always says his dad used to say.
That would be a stretch.
It's a little clunky, but, he's a great writer. He could clean it up. Hey, when we come back, we're going to make our picks.
Oh, yeah.
Not doing it. Don't know what I'm doing.
Such an important time.
Boone's got his pick. I got that. Did you get Incarcerated Bob's? We got 45. We have Bear.
Bear's locked in.
Have you guys seen the latest lines? Because I don't think Anthony sent me that.
Oh, I have the ones that were sent to us today.
Yeah, but it's very fluid. I think we need to update them.
Yeah, update them, Anthony, please. And Peter,
absolutely.
Since we're talking about betting, how about FanDuel?
Yeah. Well, Michael, it's a good thing.
My favorite babysitter is Annalisa. She's pretty good. She's like my grandma. She says, "Hola, ¿cómo estás?" She plays with me. She helps you feel better. Bugs and insects are healthy for you. Amelia took us to the beach. She teaches me some gymnastics. We color. We draw flowers, and then we go skateboarding.
From babysitters to nannies to daycare centers, find all the care you need at care.com.
We just signed the lease on our 3rd shop. I guess we're a chain now, right? We worked so hard to get here. My assistant went to customink.com to get our new uniforms and merch with all the location names. Our custom gear helps him get our brand out into the community. He takes care of all of our custom ink orders. He was able to find great products, upload the new art, and have boxes sent directly to each of the shops. Custom Ink makes it so easy. Get started today at customink.com.
You've heard our story before. In some ways, it's yours. It's the one about rolled up sleeves, measuring twice, cutting once, and building something you're proud to put your name behind. What are we building? A different kind of workwear, inspired by the values of those who put in the work. They're the reason we make boots that feel as good at 6 p.m. as they did at 6 a.m. They're the best you've ever worked in, or we'll take them back. Brunt, the tools you wear. Try us on the job for 30 days risk-free.
Guys with bad jeans, are they worth it?
Jeans go with everything.
They go with nothing. Dudes, get the new Only Pant by Fabletics.
Awesome.
Want one pair of pants that does everything like magic? Breathable cooling tech. Always stretch. Secure phone pocket.
Bro, I'm in an Only Pant ad.
Water repellent. Work, golf, date night, hiking, biking. It's so everything.
See this stretch?
You forget about the deal you're getting.
It's our biggest sale of the year. Get the Only Pant for $19 at Fabletics.com.
Get tools that bring every angle of your beauty business together. Clients can book online 24/7 for multiple services and multiple staff, so scheduling is simple. And with client notes and stored payments, you can offer seamless checkouts, so clients keep coming back. Run your beauty business with tools that bring everything together. Get started at square.com today.
Get ready for the British Basketball League. 10 teams, one electrifying league. Global talent, local passion. The British Basketball League.
And we wanted to thank America's #1 motorcycle insurer for saving us money. Mara, your parents are
exactly like me. I know, right?
Well, cherish your friends and loved ones. Let's roll, Daddy-O. Let's boogie woogie.
If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma or asbestos lung cancer, choose the right law firm by asking, what are your highest verdicts? What experience do you have? How many lawyers are on staff? How many clients have you represented? Speak to Whites and Luxembourg at 800-LAW-6789 to get unmatched answers. It's the biggest financial decision of your life. Call 800-LAW-6789 or visit misowin.com.
My boy, what you doing?
I'm locking in my prize picks. I just pick more or less on player stats. If I get them right, I win big.
Yeah, like what?
I got you.
Oh, a black genie.
If you pick 2 right, you win 3x. Pick 4 right, you win 10x. And if you pick 6 right, you win 25 extra cash.
It don't get no better than this.
Oh, but it does. Because right now, Prize Picks is matching your first deposit up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy made easy.
Welcome to Win Reality. Experience unlimited at-bats from home any season, anytime. See game speed pitches from more than 600 pitchers. Get ready for game time with game simulations. Face your friends in live competitions. And train like the pros with expert drills and metrics to track your progress. So when your moment comes, you'll be ready. Win Reality. Baseball uncaged.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
If you get a phone call, do not talk to the person.
Never, ever give out your Medicare number. Just hang up.
I check my Medicare statements monthly. To report Medicare fraud, contact the Senior Medicare Patrol in your state.
Get ready for the British Basketball League. 10 teams, one electrifying league. Global talent, local passion. The British Basketball League.
Congratulations go out to Peter Rosenberg, who was amazing during the year, finished with 68.5 points, so he's the regular season winner, but that's not how we do it. Don LaGreca was second with 59.5 points, and I was third at 56 points. Now, Don and I both finished 4 points over 500, or 4 games over. Peter, an amazing 10 games over. Joe Fortenbaugh, also 4 games over. And Yankee manager Aaron Boone was 8-8-2 in his Monday Night Football pick. So we have 6 games. We have to make 3 picks, each of us, a 3-pointer, a 2-pointer, and a 1-pointer. And it's nail-biting time. That's what it is. So Peter went 3-0. Don went 3-0 last week. So, of course, Don goes first. And during this segment, I've got my son Charlie and his friend Ollie standing behind me for luck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So please go, Don. You're first.
Well, you've got the Cowboys playing host to the Packers, and I really thought about this a lot, and I was talking earlier in the week how wouldn't it be fitting for the Cowboys to lose at home after being the only team to go undefeated at home all year? But logic ended up winning out. What are the Packers? Yeah, you could say, look, at the Packers made the playoffs, good on them, but they also lost to the Giants in a game they needed on Monday Night Football. Cowboys have been great and unbeatable all year at home. It's only 7. I don't have a ton of confidence. That's why it's my 1-point play, but I like the Cowboys to cover the 7 at home against the Green Bay Packers. That's my 1-point play.
Wow.
Guys, I'm undeterred. I'm not as worried about the weather as you guys are. I think it's going to be cold. I think it's going to be windy, but I've been on the Bills for a while here. They helped me go undefeated last week. I'm getting it under 10. I don't think the Steelers are going to do a thing offensively. They've lost Watt, which is devastating to their defense. Allen can use his legs if it's that terrible to throw the football. I like the Bills to cover the 9.5 at home. Lake effect or nah for my 2-point play. And they've been my ride or die all year. Ride and die. Was it or? I forget what it is.
It's or.
Ride or die all year long. It's been Peters as well. They have not won a playoff game. Won one playoff game since 1957. Haven't won a playoff game since 1991. It's Detroit's year. I don't buy into the Rams. They almost and should have lost to the Giants. They haven't played a meaningful game. The Lions have been engaged. Campbell's got them ready to win a home game. It's only a 3-point spread. I'm riding with the Lions at home, covering the 3 as my 3-point play. So I like the Cowboys covering the 7 as my 1-point play. I like the Bills covering the 9.5 as my 2-point play. And I like the Lions covering 3 as my 3-point play.
All right, so Peter, you're next because you were 2-1 last week.
Yeah, a lot of interesting games here. I'm scared off by Chiefs Dolphins. I just cannot read those teams well enough. I'm scared off by the weather with the Bills. Don, I like the Bills. I admit it. I am scared off by that game a little bit. And maybe it's my love for Ballard. I can't pick the Cowboys. I like the Packers. I think they've gotten good at the right time. I'm laying off that one, too. My 1-point play is the Philadelphia Eagles. I refuse to accept. I know everyone has sort of decided it's just over. They stink, and they're going to lose in the first round of the Bucs. If they were playing a team that I had a little more respect for, I think I might agree. I think the Bucs making the playoffs was kind of their Super Bowl this year. And I think the Eagles manage. You have enough great players on that team and veterans to right this ship at least for 1 week, go down to Tampa and get a win. I will make the Eagles my 1-point play given the 3 points. 1, 2, 3-point play. Thank you. My 2-point play would be I'm worried to say this, but I'm in lockstep with the fart now. Yeah, I love the Texans. I really do. Wow. I mean, the Browns story is fantastic. And again, I just said it about the Bucs. I kind of feel the same way about the Browns, guys. Don't you sort of just celebrate that you made it this far? Unbelievable. 4 different quarterbacks. Joe Flacco. They end up doing so well with their backups. They have to rest Joe Flacco like he's Lamar Jackson in Week 18 so they could save him for the playoffs. It's a great story. They're not as good on the road. C.J. Stroud is very, very good. Looked great last week. Cool as a cucumber. I'll take the Texans. What are they getting in the end? I'm sorry, Anthony, I didn't pull up the recent one. I have them at 1.5.
It's 1.5.
1.5.
All right, cool. I'll take them with getting the 1.5 points. No problemo. And lastly, I wrestled going back and forth whether it should be my 2 or 3-point play. I said earlier in the show, could I see the Rams winning and somehow just, Stafford is obviously a stud, and he's been there before. A lot of emotions back in Detroit. I just really do like this Detroit team, particularly at home with a short number. I always pick them in the spot. I'm not going to be deterred. I'll take them one more time. My 3-point play, the Lions giving 3 to the Rams. 3.
All right, so now it's my turn. I've got 2 good luck charms near me, and my son Charlie and his friend Ollie, and here we go. I got to make up some ground. My 1-point play, I do believe that the snow is going to play a big role. The cold weather is going to play a big role. So give me the Steelers and the 9.5. It's going to be very difficult to score points. It's going to be a killer. I mean, I could see this game being 9-3. I could see this game being 10-3. I hope it's not 13-3. So 9.5 points. That's my 1-point play. I'll take the Steelers, thinking that they're going to keep it close in terrible weather in Buffalo. My 2-point play. I'm going to go to another cold weather site, and I'm going to take the Chiefs. The Dolphins have not beaten good teams. I gave the stats earlier. The Dolphins also do not play well in cold weather. Under 40 degrees, they don't play well. Now, it's going to be -10 with a wind chill factor of -30. So I think the Chiefs are used to playing in stuff like this. They should be able to get it done. 4 points, a little bit larger than I would like, but I'm going to take the Chiefs as my 2-point play. And then my 3-point play, I'll match the guys, so nobody's going to lose any huge ground this week. I'll take the Lions. We've done well with them all year. So the Lions are my 3-point play, giving 3 points.
Three.
So Don and I, the game that we have to look at, the Bills and the Steelers, that's a big game. Don has it for 2, I have it for 1, and then I have the Chiefs, my 2-point play. So there you have it. Hopefully my 2 good luck charms work out for me. Aaron Boone, what was his pick, Don?
Aaron Boone is going against us, guys. He likes the Rams.
Wow.
Getting 3 as his play.
I thought he was picking Monday.
No, I told him he didn't have to.
Oh.
Wait, we thought you were going to follow back up.
I did, and he said, do I have to do it? And I said, those two guys are bad. They're giving me heat. But you know what? I said it. I'm a man of my word. He doesn't have to do it.
Wow.
If he wants, no, he's going Rams. Sorry.
All right.
Wow.
How about incarcerated Bob?
This is deeply unfortunate. Incarceration is going with the Texans Browns over at 44, the Cowboys Packers over at 50.5, and like the rest of us, that's starting to make me nervous. He likes the Lions giving.
It's a no harm, no foul situation. Don't worry about it. Everybody's wrong. No harm, no foul.
I like to have a nice record.
I care about my record. I want to come out of this weekend 13 over 500. You know, Don, I'm trying to set records now. That's what I'm thinking about.
How about Bear?
You guys know Bear is heavy on the animals, and he likes the Dolphins to cover the 4.
Wow. And how about the 45?
Michael, a lot on my mind. That said, I'm going to go with the Browns. That's right. The Browns. Joe Flacco. Once spent time with him on I've spent time with him in a random place that we don't want to talk about. We spent time. Good old Flacco. Jersey Joe. I think he's from Jersey or Long Island. I'm going with Jersey Joe. Joe Flacco and the Browns.
All right, so, Charlie, what's your best bet? You got to talk into the mic, bud. Or any game. Which one do you like the most?
Oh, here we go.
Was he Amani?
Who do you like, Ollie?
He's underage. I think this is wrong. I think.
Are children allowed to make picks?
No, they're not allowed to make picks. Anyway,
I think you should bring Michael's
that's
mic down.
going to do it. When we come back, it's going to be time for ENN. Do you want to say anything else, Charlie? We're pointing at the mic. What else did you want to say?
Hi.
There you go.
Good. I love it.
Well said.
He brought it.
Charlie, do you want to say hi to Ollie?
Hi.
All right, so Ollie says
Ollie.
hi too. We say hi to ENN when we come back in just a moment. Empire Outlets is
My favorite babysitter is Annalisa. She's pretty good. She's like my grandma. She says, "Hola, ¿cómo estás?" She plays with me. She helps you feel better. Bugs and insects are healthy for you. Amelia took us to the beach. She teaches me some gymnastics. We like color. We draw flowers, and then we go skateboarding.
From babysitters to nannies to daycare centers, find all the care you need at care.com.
Switch to Square and take charge of your business and your time. Switch to fast setup and even faster checkouts. Switch to making every sale, every way you want, and every way they want too. Switch to one system connecting every tool to every task, even as your business grows. Switch to taking control and taking more free time, whatever that means to you. Make the switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started.
Jeff has a problem. It started when he ordered his Brunt workboots. He's beating them up 14 hours a day, going on about how they're comfortable as sneakers, but he never takes them off. At my place, with his buddies, at night, I caught him in the shower, and he just goes, "What? They're waterproof." I don't know if we're going to make it through the 30-day risk-free trial.
Of course they will, babe. They're super durable.
I'm not talking about the boots, Jeff.
Brunt, the tools you wear. Try us on the job for 30 days risk-free.
We just shipped our 1,000th monthly coffee subscription box. We're sending custom thank you gifts to everyone on our team who helped us get there. I had to call Eric at Custom Ink. Custom Ink has been with us from the beginning, and he makes sure that we get everything we need and even reminds us of our own company milestones. This milestone, though, I get to tell him about. He is every bit as excited as we are and knows great quality products we can customize and send for the gifts. Celebrate all your milestones with custom gear. Get started today at customink.com.
Guys with bad jeans, are they worth it?
Jeans go with everything.
They go with nothing. Dudes, get the new Only Pant by Fabletics.
Awesome.
Want one pair of pants that does everything like magic? Breathable cooling tech. Always stretch. Secure phone pocket.
Bro, I'm in an Only Pant ad.
Water repellent. Work, golf, date night, hiking, biking. It's so everything. You forget about the deal you're getting.
It's our biggest sale of the year. Get the Only Pant for $19 at Fabletics.com.
Can a handyman fix my leaky faucet?
How much does it cost to have my HVAC checked?
How do I know I have mold?
What do water pipes break? Home questions don't have to keep you up at night. Get peace of mind with Thumbtack. We'll connect you with local pros for any home project, from a small fix to a big remodel. See transparent prices, read verified reviews, and book with just a tap. Thumbtack, the easy way to care for your home.
Get ready for the British Basketball League. 10 teams, one electrifying league. Global talent, local passion. The British Basketball League.
His talents and his future.
YAP is a community-based alternative to youth incarceration, congregate placement, and neighborhood violence. After completing our program, 86% of participants were living in their communities, arrest-free.
And now, I'm a YAP advocate, helping kids like me find a better way.
Youth advocate programs. Others talk social change. We make it happen.
It's All-Star season in Brooklyn, and we got all the stars. And the stars are out. We got LeBron, Harden, and KD. Kevin Durant is smoking hot. We got Embiid, Steph, and Tatum. Jason Tatum is going off. Yes, we got an all-star lineup. Nets versus Heat, Monday at 7 on Yes and the Yes app.
We all smoked in those days. If that was you then, get your lungs screened now.
It's easy to stay safe online. Learn more at CISA.gov/secure our world.
You are watching Yes.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
Welcome to ENN.
On TV.
Ray Rowe. Oh, you know what, guys? It's pretty exciting.
What?
Sponsor. That's right. ENN tonight. It's brought to you by our friends, and we love them so much at Security Dodge. Go see Michelle Scalisi and come
Get some!
Yeah!
I love that.
I'd love to, let me say good evening to Michael and myself.
Drinks at like Mixers at Maryland?
Mixers.
It's a genuine question.
Good evening to Don.
My mom thinks that I have to go to you to get vacation.
You haven't come to me with those requests yet, Don.
No, because I know better.
Yeah.
Can't you ask Michael for the day off? You've been working so hard. Can't you just tell the Rangers that you need a day?
This brings up a good point.
Well, they listened. Let's say good evening to all of us, shall we?
They sent out something on X.
What?
On what?
On X.
What's that?
You know, don't be an ass.
That was genuine anger out of Michael. I know the difference of like making fun and where you're on his last nerve. And you got there quick, Peter.
Yeah. Well, and it should have been you. You were the one. What did you say, Don? You said yesterday that if Michael insisted on using the word X, you were going to disrupt the show.
That's right. But I know Michael very well. I knew he wasn't having it today.
Don knows how to read the defense. You are clueless.
Right. You didn't read the blitz.
Don's been with me 22 years. You, not much.
I mean, sometimes you look at the defense and you go, and you're like Dan Campbell. You're just going to hammer your way through.
Just two knees.
Let's talk about, you guys got to, give me some late Give me some sleepy time music. Like, give me something for when you're putting the baby to bed. All right. You put the baby down in the crib, and you're trying to get everyone to calm down and go to sleep. And then you go, Coach Thibodeau, what happened on the Knicks game last night in Dallas?
Puts a lot of pressure on you. But our defensive transition to start the game was poor. Turned the ball over.
Don, this could be his best bit.
And so they got some easy baskets. They got rhythm. They got confidence early. And then once a team gets going like that, it's tough to get it turned around. Now, we did fight to get out of that hole, and so that part was good. But first quarter readiness is huge in this league.
We might have. I think a life was lost. Somebody had a 16-hour shift at the hospital, and the last thing they needed was those 30 seconds. They just drifted off. Hopefully, it didn't hit anything.
But the real genius was when we realized that for years because we have new listeners every day, guys.
Right.
You may have not heard that Don, for whatever reason, Michael never this except for Don, refers to sleepy time as time for sleepy time Bobo. We have a drop for it, but and we used to play it quite a bit, and then the fact that whenever Tom Thibodeau talks, it's sleepy time, sleepy Tom, sleepy Tom Bobo. Here we are. Oh, whew. Anyways,
didn't hear a word he said.
Tough loss though.
Time for sleepy time Bobos.
Tough loss for the Knicks last night. If you did not see the game, they basically were outclassed from the beginning. I think Kyrie scored the first 8 for the Mavericks out of the gate, and just never looked back. Scored what did he end up with? 43. He was a problem all night long. The Knicks kept digging themselves into holes. Cut it to 1 on a DiVincenzo 3, and then ended up coming up just short. So yesterday, Don and I planned the entire rest of their season. I think we had them finishing with about 60 wins and said, where are they going to lose these games in January? And the Knicks said, hold my beer. We'll give you one tonight.
It was tough.
It was not a fun game to watch.
I'm sure a lot of people checked out.
Well, you know what happened? I checked out at halftime. So I was upstairs just reading my iPad, and then before I was going to go to Sleepy Time Bobo, I hit the ESPN app, and I saw that it was a 2-point game, ran downstairs for the final couple of minutes. But you're right. Most people didn't see the fourth quarter.
Because it was an 8:30 start. So, God, it was definitely after 11. It's not that late, but still, when you've got a game that it's starting, an hour later than usual, and they're down 18, it just didn't look like it was going to be their night.
I think Dallas had 41 points in the first quarter. Now, you do the math, Peter. That's 164 points.
That's a lot of points to you and me. I mean, God, boy, speaking of a lot of points, there were some bad games last night in the NBA. Celtics just got absolutely mauled by the Bucks in Milwaukee. Which, Don, what is that in Algonquin?
And Algonquin is the good land.
Not the good land. And then so my team lost badly. And then Don's team lost really badly. The Portland Trailblazers just smoked. Lost by I think they lost by 200 points.
They showed some heart. They played even in the fourth. They were down. They lost by 62. They were down by 62 going to the fourth. 62. I looked it up. The spread was 13.5. So you were feeling pretty good.
They had a point for every year I've been on this earth.
62. I mean, that's ridiculous. 139 to 77. How?
Make it make sense.
Thunder are good, and the Blazers are bad, but still 62 points.
Fifth largest rout in NBA history.
I saw on social media, Peter and Michael, that they did a split screen. Like they were like the channel they were on was like showing like weather. They were trying to do anything they could to distract from the actual game.
And if I could tell all of our listeners out there, when you put weather up on the screen for Don, it's like porn.
Well, it depends on if I need to know.
But, I mean, this weekend, a lot of stuff happening weather-wise, so it's like he has something he follows Weather Hub, if you know what I mean.
Well first of all, you laugh at me. You're the same way. I own a home, so that means I'm invested in what the weather's going to be like.
Well, you can't stop the weather. What do you have to watch it for?
Yeah, but I need to know. I need to be prepared.
For what?
Because I
want
want
to shovel and have your heart explode?
No, I enjoy shoveling, and I haven't had the shovel in a long time. But I haven't had the shovel during kickboxing. I'm wondering if I would do a more efficient job now.
I listen. I'm going to put it out there for you, and I hope that you take advantage of it. The next time there's a big snowstorm, I will pay for the shoveling for your house.
There's nothing to do with finances. I've got the money.
Now,
I enjoy the shovel.
Before we have this argument again about shoveling, at least it won't affect us, not before Tuesday when they're talking about some snow here in the tri-state. When I looked earlier to see, because we were told by a listener that in the new Mike Lupica book, a character says sorry doesn't fix the lamp. We started debating, is that a ripoff of Michael? Is it homage to Michael? Or is it random? Started Googling it, or is it plagiarism? Sure. I Googled it, and it seems like everything that comes up relates to the show, including a Reddit page, a Michael K. Show Reddit page, that says Michael K. Show quotes that you've incorporated into your daily life. Oh. And this was made 10 months ago. And the person who posted it, Yankee Nick fan, said, definitely have added "I'm good" to my vocabulary.
That's from you.
And
that's from Don.
And have applied the Don LaGreca quote about calling the cops if golf was played in his backyard a couple of times. But then I kept going, guys, and there's a lot of people who weighed in on this. Are you interested?
Yes.
Sure.
One person said sorry doesn't fix the lamp. That's why it came up on the Google search. Someone says a Jace, use it constantly. Someone said not good, great. Another person said my goodness. Someone named AdFun2552 said, I've begun referring to everything as a vehicle. For example, friend, hey, have you ever seen Transformers from 2007? Me, the Shia LaBeouf Megan Fox vehicle.
We've affected a generation.
Agent Lemon says, I use words as tools, as weapons. Someone says, I say in a word troubling way too much, and also say a Jace.
Why don't these people have meters?
Exactly. I was just thinking the same thing. What do all these people have in common?
No meters.
The juice isn't worth the squeeze, but that's
not a K-Show thing.
Electrical Piano says not what you want. That is an us thing. Well, even though
it's stolen from Joe Girardi.
Right.
It's the former Yankee manager Joe Girardi, but we've made it ours.
Joe Girardi?
I said Joe Girardi.
No, I don't think you did.
It's all right. Well, we'll run it back.
You thought I combined Joe Dirt and Joe Girardi?
It's definitely Joe Girardi.
How's it working out for me? Can't put the milk back in the udder. Who you taking out? My urgent care doctor is a quack every time I go to urgent care.
I love these people.
Sorry doesn't fix the lamp again. T-Wee and Ray Row. Vehicle, a Jace. Wow, this is...
It's a proud moment for us, isn't it?
It really is.
Oh, someone even added nozzle. He's a nice man. I'm not an animal. And here comes football, which... that's the ultimate. Here comes football is important.
Don't you think that Peacock should have that as the open on Saturday? Just two big slobs in underwear and undershirts with mustard stains screaming, here comes football.
Do you think when at my house on Sunday, when Ballard comes over to watch the Packers game, and we're eating brisket that his girlfriend ordered for us from Snow's in Austin, Texas. It's his favorite barbecue place. She ordered 2 pounds of brisket for us. Do you think I should get Ballard plate in hand, undershirt only, as the Packers game's about to kick off, to perform a rendition of Here Comes Football?
I believe
that could be it.
I think, and then put it out on your social media platforms.
That could be the logo, the NFL's new logo for the NFL playoffs. And speaking of which, guys, I'd be remiss. Let's get into this week's special playoff NFL announcer lineup. It's the former Yankee manager, Joe Girardi, but we made it ours.
There you go. Thank you, Tom. Or Anthony.
It's unfortunate by me. By the way, Mrs. Kelsey sort of looks like Joe Dirt. Don, is that bad to say?
Oh, yeah, it's not good.
Oh, my God. How could you say that?
They look similar in hairstyle. You know what? Let's move on.
Move on. Hopefully they dump it.
4:30 tomorrow.
It's going to be Taylor Swift's mother-in-law.
By the way, I love Joe Dirt. You shouldn't see this as such an offense.
Lorvis.
Shout out to Lorvis. We'll get to the Lorvis Bowl in a second. Tomorrow, 4:30. NBC. Always hard to keep track of where these playoff games are. The Cleveland Browns are heading to Houston, Tejas. You know who's on the call for this game, guys?
Let's see, NBC, I would say Tirico and Collinsworth.
How about a young man? When I say young, he's still in the womb. Noah Eagle.
Oh, look at
Noah
little birdie.
Eagle.
It's a baby eagle.
Look,
It's a
being
baby
fed a worm.
eagle. You hear that?
It's beautiful.
Noah Eagle, Todd Blackledge, and Catherine Tappan on the call. The Browns have covered 6 straight games as favorites, including going 4-0 against the spread with Joe Flacco as a favorite. All 8 Browns road games have gone over the total this season. Let's hear from Kevin Stefanski on Facing Houston.
I know we recently played this team. As you know, they're different. Everybody's different each week, but C.J. Stroud's a great player. I mean, he's a great player, so we did not face him in the first one. You know, there's injuries that guys that are back on defense that they didn't have.
Speaking of C.J. Stroud, the young quarterback spoke on his playoff debut.
It's just football. Just be yourself is what they always tell me. So I've played in playoff games before, big games, and the less that you put pressure on yourself, I feel like the more you just execute and do your job, then that's when good things happen.
Wow. Can't believe. Let me hear from the baby Eagle again. I can't believe Noah Eagle is a playoff.
That's amazing.
Surpassing me in life at 18 years old or whatever he is. The Miami Dolphins are heading to Kansas City. That's right. It's the Lorvis Bowl. I'm sure Tay-Tay will be in the house. And if you want to watch this game, you'll be in your house watching on Peacock, 8 p.m. That is your Mike Tirico.
They still seem to resonate.
There are 3 teams.
Jason Garrett and Kaylee Harding vehicle. All right?
Don's not a Garrett fan.
Jason Garrett's basically a rock, and they put him on TV because he's a ginger.
The Dolphins are 1-5 against the spread against teams with winning records this season. The Dolphins are 0-10 outright and 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games when the game time temperature is 40 or less. Speaking of the weather, Coach Reed, is the weather an advantage for the Chiefs?
Yeah, I don't think you bank on all that. That's where you get into trouble. Guys pretty resilient, and you get yourself ready, and if it works out that way for you or whatever, I don't know how to quantify that. So I just say, get ready for the game. Let's do that. I don't really care what goes on out here. You know, we're not having a snowball fight.
You know what I would do? If I was an older coach who was a bit on the corpulent side, I'd say, I'm not standing on the sidelines in this nonsense. I'll be up in the booth.
Well, that would really endear you to your team.
Well, I mean, there should be a cutoff point. If you're over 60 years old, what are you doing? You trying to kill yourself?
Now, speaking of weather, let's go to Sunday morning.
You keep better in the cold.
You keep better in the cold?
Yeah.
Let's go to Sunday morning. Let's go to Buffalo. Let's go to CBS, 1 o'clock. Hello, friends. It's Jim Nantz. He'll be joined by Tony Romo.
Another touchdown. That's a catch.
And Tracy Wolfson. The Bills are 0-9 against the spread in their last 9 games when laying at least 9 points. The spread, as of when we last saw it, 9.5. Oh, that's Michael. You're very, very good.
I picked that.
Let's hear from Coach Tomlin on sticking with Mason Rudolph.
And we'll stay with Mason Rudolph, much like in the spirit in which we worked a week ago. We're just simply staying with the hot hand and not disrupting the apple cart. We've been in some tough circumstances. He's delivered, we've delivered, and so we will continue in that vein.
Oh, he used 3 cliches in that. In that vein, and then the 2 at the beginning.
Apple cart.
Strong.
Apple cart.
Oh, an apple cart, too. Let's go to the main event. Well, it's really back-to-back main events on Sunday night. 4:30 on Fox, Green Bay and Dallas. Kevin Burkhardt on the call.
Boston College.
He'll be joined by Greg Olsen.
James Harrison one time in the middle of the game hit me so hard under the throat that I threw up in the middle of the play in my mouth, and I had to swallow it.
Aaron Andrews and Tom Rinaldi.
All right, oh man, I can joke with you about that.
Oh, that was a Packers game as well. The Cowboys are 10-3 against the spread as favorites this season. Dak Prescott is 30-13-1 against the spread in his career when laying at least 6 points. They're laying 7 as of now. Let's go to 8:20 on Sunday night. The Rams and the Lions on NBC. Mike Tirico back on the call with Chris Collinsworth and Melissa Stark. The Rams are 6-1 against the spread in their last 7. The Lions are 5-1 against the spread in their last 6, with 4 straight covers. That takes us to Monday night. And you know what that means, guys? It's an ESPN vehicle.
Right. ABC, too.
It's Philadelphia at Tampa Bay at 8:15. Special Martin Luther King Day vehicle. Joe Buck on the call.
I actually called a touchdown live on national TV while peeing in a trash can.
He'll, of course, be with Troy Aikman.
Come on, Daddy.
And Lisa Salters. The Eagles are 0-6 against the spread in their last 6 games. That's tied for the longest against the spread losing streak of any team all season long. The Buccaneers are 8-2 against the spread as dogs this season, 5-6 outright, including going 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 as dogs. They've won 3 straight outright as dogs. That will do it for this week's NFL announcer lineup. Your Super Wild Card Weekend. ENN brought to you by Security Dodge. Shop 24/7 at securitydodge.com during their Starting Something New sales event.
Don, did you find out if, in fact, you have Peacock?
I think I do, yeah. I don't know. I didn't really confirm it, no.
I think I do. I didn't really. Do you have it, Peter?
Absolutely. Of course I have
it. Yeah, me too.
I love Peacock. I consume all my classic WWE content on
That's true.
Plus the Royal Rumble.
In the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes, my friend.
That's a wrap on the show for today and this week. Coming up next, the British Basketball League. For all of us here on the Michael K. Show, this is Chris Sheeran saying have a great weekend. Enjoy the wild card games. We'll see you Tuesday at 3 o'clock.